Let's go. Go Gadget. Hate British people. Let's go. What are you smoking and where can I get it? Where are they selling you this shit? I didn't do it, but if I did do it, it's not that bad. And because it wasn't that bad, I'll pay to have it fixed. What the actual fuck, dude? Well, I mean, yeah, bro. I think that the cat could treat her better at this point. No? Every time he tells it, it gets more dramatic. First it was, you know, she pushed me away, then she punched me in the face, then she broke my nose, then she broke my legs, then she broke my arms, then she killed my mom, then she killed the cat, and then she killed me with the cat's dead body, and then she got defibrillator paddles and resuscitated me so she could beat the shit out of me more. Where is it? Show me a screenshot of her saying the N-word or shut up. Let's see. Okay, so this is from June of 2024. Okay, so IMALLEXX is a pretty big YouTuber. He did a lot of run-of-the-mill kind of commentary stuff. He was like a Minecraft YouTuber, I believe, as well. Let's just go to his YouTube channel and take a peek really quick here. Sorry for the jump scare. I didn't have that muted. So we'll just take a peek here. So we got, like, you know, JoJo Siwa, TikTok stuff, just, you know, Alphaba, lots of trans Alphaba stuff, you know, your usual just kind of commentary, YouTube, and what have you. And before everything blew up, he had 2 million subs on YouTube, I believe, and then obviously everybody fucked off following the allegations. And so the allegations that came out, it was just about a year ago now. There were allegations that came out by IMALLEXX's ex-girlfriend, and so there's a Google document here. So this is somebody else. Who's the original girl? There's two of them. The first girl's name is Annie. I'm trying to find this because Alice was the one that put out the primary Google document. Oh, here it is. Hang on. Get this one because there was another girl that came out after the fact. So this is the original Google document. So this is the statement. There's a bunch of videos in here as well. And like I said, your favorite content creator covered this drama when it first came out. So we're going to just do a quick little overview catch up and then we're going to watch his response. So I have a video on this. Pretty much everybody and their mom has a video on this. So this is the very first girl who came out just about a year ago. So this is a sensitive subject for me as I've struggled to figure out how to put into words. I've been threatened by Alex not to come out with anything at all and to keep quiet or he will create contradicting stories to discredit my own, but I'm not scared anymore. No matter what is said in response to this statement, I know that I said my piece and I can move on with my life. I made this document as a compilation of my experiences while being with Alex and have put screenshots in these accounts under the corresponding paragraphs. This will be a long one, but I want to start from the beginning so you can understand the whole story.
Genoveva Simons Donatet 2 lliures trucs superchat. Alex video in a nutshell. No, you.
Thank you very much for the €2. I haven't watched it yet, so I've heard that it's a little bit of waffling, so we'll have to see. So, too long didn't read. Alex and this girl were together for a brief period in time. They lived together as well, but they also chatted a lot over Discord, and there were a lot of fights between the two of them regarding hanging out with each other in real life and then also chatting on Discord. A lot of these text messages are kind of repetitive, at least. And so, you know, this is just an example. He says, fuck off, ICBA, I literally conceded because it's fucking pointless, but it's not good enough. Then fuck you and fuck off, weird girl. As soon as I realized you were being a freak, I said sorry to get you to shut up. This is just kind of a reoccurring theme. The way that he talks to her is not very appropriate. And this is from a girl, Alice. There's two different girls. So this was the girlfriend. So he was pretty, you know, like verbally abusive at the very least. At this stage of their relationship, he tells her to kill herself regularly. She also, you know, struggles with suicidality and what have you. So obviously not an appropriate thing. Even if your partner isn't suicidal, you probably shouldn't tell them to kill themselves, I would say. That's probably fucked up. Outside of jest, right? Outside of jest. Jokes are allowed, but outside of that, probably not. So he says here, you delusional bitch, fuck off, go away, psycho, you're the craziest woman ever, genuinely, like, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. So we get a lot of that. So she ends up moving in with him, and when they live together, and then this document is very, very long, just because, like, as you can see here, the screenshots take up, like, a whole page. So, and the text messages are generally pretty repetitive. Fuck you, bitch, you're stupid, you're a dumb bitch, I hate you, you're psychotic, fuck you, kill yourself, blah 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 blah. That's like the TLDR of the screenshots that are shown here. After that argument the same month, when we moved in with each other, this is when things got more real for me. I decided to start noting things down and recording and texting my mom. So in this Google Drive, there's videos here where he's like crashing the fuck out. There's a video in here where he follows her around the house screaming the N-word at her, which he's a little bit too pale and British to be saying that word, in my opinion. These are some verbal threats where he says that he's going to bash her fucking face in with a brick and crazy shit like that. So all of those are recorded there as well. And then, these are some of the things where she's documenting messaging her parents, like talking about the situation. So that's aware of that. So the December 28th was the day I said I no longer put up with his behavior. I was getting the house ready for his parents to come over for dinner. As Alex did not clean or prepare anything, he must have thought that I was angry with him because I was cleaning in the kitchen and constantly asking me if anything is wrong. I would tell him multiple times, I'm fine, nothing is wrong, I just want to clean. He started shouting, getting hysterical, thinking I'm lying, that I'm pissed off. I said very few words due to the fact that I'm mentally drained. I had nothing left in me when I had these arguments. I barely said anything. He asked for tasks that he could do to help in a panic. Blah, blah, blah. On my way out of the kitchen, he kicks me in the back, and I turn and say nothing. There's also an incident in here where he chokes her and traps her in the bathroom as well. This is where he broke her TV. So at this point, it was the second time that he hurt me, and I was so scared. I texted my friend to pick me up, and I started packing. He follows me around the house, screaming random things at me, trying to justify his actions for going too far. I recorded this because I was scared that he would hit me again. I say nothing, and I'm panicking to the point where I'm sweating from the fear. He's calling me the N-word, useless, etc. After I left, later picked up my things, he threatened to throw them outside. A 4K setup, I found everything on the floor taken apart. The keyboard was smashed and scattered everywhere. He claimed the keys had fallen off of my keyboard when I was packing it away. When I got home, I plugged everything in and found my monitor screens were both smashed and the camera was as well. And then, we've got a little bit more of this. And then, so she eventually leaves him, and then he blows up her phone. One of the recordings in here as well is that he calls her crying. And it's like the most pathetic voice message I've ever heard in my entire life. You can see he's like, please come back. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, freak the fuck out, babe. I'm so sorry. Blah, blah, blah. The huge, sending some voice messages of him crying. I'm so sorry. I want you to come back, please. It's been a misunderstanding. And this is like, I would call the police at this point. Like, this is ridiculous. He's sending her gifts as well. So he's ordering shit for her on Amazon and sending it to her, writing her letters, etc., etc. And then, would never stop and leave her alone. So since all this has happened, and the public has speculated from their own, have speculated on their own from my event posts and interactions, which I want to tell you is a cry for help, not attention. I've had threats of story manipulation from Alex, so I want to clear all these up before he gets the chance to try and victimize himself and disregard everything that he's done to me. I'm not afraid to own up to anything I've done because I only ever reacted after the abuse was drilled into me. So there's a little bit there. And then she said as well that there's... at the very least, that there were incidents where she was kind of pushed to the brink in regard to him treating her like shit. One of the examples, if I remember correctly, is she... Oh, God, I don't know if I'm going to be able to think of it off the top of my head. But there was an incident where she either pushed him or, like, swung at him. Oh, she slapped him in the face because he was holding the cat. Oh, he said that he was going to kill her cat, too. This is all coming back to me now. He said that he was going to kill her cat, and he was holding the cat, and she was like, dude, like, put my fucking cat down. Like, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm going to kill the cat. And so she swatted at him or slapped him or something like that. Obviously, I don't think that domestic abuse is appropriate. Full stop. But in general, I think that people that are like actually really evil are really good at pushing people to like do things they wouldn't normally do, right? Like if somebody needles you over and over and over and over and over again, and then you finally snap and react, I don't think reactive abuse is the exact same as intentional abuse. I would say both are bad, but in order for something to be considered a mutually abusive relationship, I would want to see evidence of both people being an aggressor, right? Like, if you look, for example, at the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, I would consider that to be mutually abusive because there were incidents where they were both the aggressor in the situation, right? Like, if there were times where she was starting fights with him, she was needling him, she was getting physical with him, unprovoked and shit like that, that's when I would start looking at that and, discern and say, oh, this person is being... it's mutually abusive in this instance. I don't think that holds true for this, at least from the evidence that I've seen. And then this one is another person. This one is, what is this girl's name? This one is from Annie. And Annie, though we were never confirmed it to be public because I personally like to keep my relationships private, she dated Alex. It was the most toxic relationship ever. This is when she was sexually assaulted, and then he was like mad about it. During the relationship, he made me feel insane. Where's the part in here? During our relationship, they got bracelets for Valentine's Day. Lastly, the only time he ever laid a finger on me is when he grabbed me to try to run away from conflict. We were trying to record a YouTube video together. He was getting frustrated, having to restart and record multiple times. He started shouting and beating his fist on the table, even as far to break the microphone. I was scared, so I got up to leave the room, which he grabbed my arm to physically stop me. I remember saying, quote, "You grabbed my arm," several times in shock, as to say, who the fuck would grab somebody like that? It saddens me that it's come this far, so on and so forth. If I remember correctly, it was this girl, the Alice girl as well, that shared with Alex that she was sexually assaulted, and he was like, "Oh, so you're ran through. Oh, so you're a whore." Was like the reaction, and I was like, dude, what the fuck did you just say? The whole thing is quite egregious in my opinion. So I'll save those links if anybody wants to read through those and flick through them a little bit later. So it is quite a lot. But nonetheless, so IMALLEXX did essentially what everybody wanted, and he completely fucked off from the internet. Okay, like he didn't make any content for the last 9 months. He just completely fucking vanished. Which is exactly what you would want in a situation like that. Somebody gets outed as being like an abuser or like a piece of shit, or like, I would consider somebody who's like domestically violent to be a bad person, at the very least making bad choices, I would say. But whatever word that you like to describe that. Okay, he fucked off completely. He was gone. Okay, and that is kind of how we have this tangled web that exists with like Katie Clism and Lewis McClung, because these are people who wanted blood from IMALLEXX, and because he literally just disappeared, like completely like faked his death and like moved to another country level shit, they started going after everybody that was approximately in his orbit, even though they didn't do anything. But IMALLEXX has crawled back out of the hole that he was in, and he finally posted a response video. I have not watched this. This is going to be my first watch through. So that'll be pretty delicious, pretty juicy, pretty yummy. So we're going to do that. And then obviously this is a quick and dirty TLDR of all the allegations and events. I'm not going to sit down and read the entire Google document a second time. You can watch my coverage or you can watch somebody else's coverage. I don't care. Obviously, whatever you prefer. And then when I put this up, I'm going to put the link to the video below as well. That way people are able to fill in the gaps as we continue. Okay. I personally don't really believe in, quote, mutual abuse, especially in the case where there's such a clear power dynamic. The only reason I would disagree with that is because I think that there can be, like, two people that are the aggressors and they kind of play off of each other. I think that you can see examples of that, but that, in my opinion, that requires that both people at different times are the aggressor. If you have somebody who is only exclusively the aggressor and then the other person is only physical in, like, reaction or retaliation, quote unquote, like heavy air quotes, I would say that that's different than two people that intentionally physically fight with each other, like, on equal playing fields. Like, I'm not saying like one person starts a fight 3 times, this person starts a fight 3 times, therefore it's blanketly, mutually abusive. I would say that there are certainly instances where both people in the relationship are abusive and are aggressive, and they kind of play off of that dynamic. I think that it, like 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be mutually abusive, but I think that those can happen, certainly, right? Okay, we're being brave. Okay, let's go. Go Gadget. Hate British people. Let's go. Embarrassing. I always do this, guys.
Response to allegations. This video is my response to allegations made by my ex-girlfriend Alice Hez, who I was in a relationship with for the majority of 2023. Alice hit me, kicked me, emotionally.
2023. Okay. This
video is my response to allegations made by.
Okay, here's my statement on the situation. I'm in scared queso. Yep,
my ex-girlfriend Alice Hez, who I was in a relationship with for the majority of 2023. Alice hit me, kicked me.
Okay, these are too fast. I can't. Fuck.
The allegations made by my ex-girlfriend Alice Hez, who I was in a relationship with for the majority of 2023. Alice hit me.
Yes, I slapped you in the face one time. Name a girl who hasn't slapped a huge asshole. Yeah, that's true. She slapped him in the face. This was out of character to me, but he was screaming in my face. I backed out of a corner. Yep. Okay, so we know that. Kicked me. It's because of everything over the years it's built on. Yeah, I don't want you to think that I want to be a victim. I don't want to be perceived. I remember pushing you away from me. I didn't just go ahead and start kicking hard to you, but yeah, it was uncalled for. And then he said, I don't want your messages. Okay.
Emotionally, verbally, and physically abused me, as well as.
Okay, fine. It's on 1.5. Oh my god. Say sorry publicly. I don't know what you want to do.
Threatened me and blackmailed me.
Like, these are going fast even at
constantly throughout our
regular speed.
relationship. Alice has continued to harass me by
Continue to harass me. She says, you're really affected by my existence, aren't you? Noted, I'll keep doing what I'm doing to piss you off. Yep, yep, yep. Arguing with yourself. If you really wanted to talk up Alex about it, I can give you his number. Okay, cool.
posting false information about me, as well as
These are going way
fabricating
too fast.
stories about our relationship online
Way too
to
fast.
this day. All of this will be covered in detail in this video, and for full clarity, I will
Okay.
be reading from a document that I have written to make sure that this is treated with the seriousness that it deserves. Since our relationship ended,
okay.
Alice has lied continuously for the last 12 months that I was under a police investigation to friends, ex-girlfriends, and
Police investigations. She posted about this on Twitter earlier. Where is it? She posted about this. This is the email that she shared. Good afternoon, Alice. As discussed during our telephone call, please file the attached document containing safeguarding advice in relation to the crime report. Kind regards, blah, 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 blah. This email and any of their accompanying documents contain information from the Kent Police and or Essex Police, which is confidential privilege, and the information, blah, blah, blah. So this is just what she posted. This is the, report or whatever the fuck. So she did report it. I don't know how the UK operates or anything like that. I don't know anything about UK law or what have you, anything like that. I'm not an expert in any of that shit, but very obviously she did in fact file a police report. I don't know if anything came of it. At least in America, you can file a police report, but that doesn't guarantee that there's going to be an investigation or anything like that, right? I could file a police report and say so and so did this, and they could look at it and say, wow, this is worth looking into, or they could say, wow, this is fucking useless. It kind of depends, I suppose. I don't know if it's similar in Britain, if it's the same over there in the UK, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
Genoveva Simons Donatet 2 lliures trucs superchat. És d'anying d'hipòlissa report va causa escaret.
Thank you very much for the €2. Yeah, I think that he's just, I don't know why he would deny that, because she could very obviously show receipts for that. Obviously, if something comes of the police report, that's an entirely different question, but she did at least file something, right? We can see very obviously that she at least has evidence that she filed something. So I don't know, truthfully, but...
YouTube commentary channels. Alice has continued to make false allegations about me to this day and said that she had pressed charges against me in a comment on TikTok. This is a lie, as at no point have I been interviewed, arrested, or charged with a crime, but Alice continues to slander me publicly with these lies. Alice...
So we just saw that she did actually report something. Again, I don't know how it works in the United Kingdom. In America, you can press charges, but it's kind of discretionary, right? They decide if they're going to press charges or not. You can file the report. I guess I'm just getting kind of sunlocked on this because I don't know how it works in the United Kingdom. So that might be true. I don't know, because that might be true in the United Kingdom or whatever. But at the very least, she did file a report. I don't know if there are charges. I don't know how it works. We're just gonna be dumb Yanks, okay?
Said that future partners can check Claire's law, and later claimed she got me put down in the system so that any future partners who know how Claire's law works can use this information to stay safe from me. The information that is accessible through Claire's law will be a criminal record, also known as a criminal history. All of this information is available on the Claire's law website, which I will link in the description. Alice has said that Claire's law can be used and that I am in the system, alleging that I am a convicted criminal or that I have a criminal record. Alice also...
What is that called? Claire's Law? What is that? Claire's Law, United Kingdom. Domestic Violence and Disclosure Scheme, DVDS, also known as Claire's Law, enables the police to disclose information to a victim or potential victims of domestic abuse about their partner's ex or ex-partners or violent offending. Do you have to be convicted of a crime to be on Claire's Law UK? No, you don't need a conviction to be subject to Claire's Law in the United Kingdom. The police can share information about a person's history of violence, abuse, or even if there was no conviction, or if they believe that the person is a risk of harm. So that's a lie. So far, we're not doing good, guys. So far, we're not doing good. Because if this is true, the list isn't just for people who have been convicted. It's just if there's anything that's reported, right? Okay, so far we're not doing great. We're not doing great right now.
Also says in the same messages that the police didn't do anything at all. These statements completely contradict each other, as it would not be possible for the police to have done nothing, and for the police to have put me on the system as a convicted criminal or as someone with a...
So, are there any Britbongers in here? Am I understanding this correctly, that with Claire's Law or whatever the fuck, you don't have to be convicted, you can still get put on it, so it wouldn't matter, right? It wouldn't matter, right?
criminal record. Alice's story continues to make no sense, as Alice later said that I was charged by police, but this would not be possible if the police never did anything at all. Alice claimed she had achieved her goal of getting me put on a list accessible via Claire's Law, and that she had saved people because of this. None of the statements made about the police investigation make any sense, as Alice claims she had put me on a list that would require me having a criminal record and a caution from the police, but also says the police didn't do anything at all. This is because Alice is and always was lying. I would like to make it incredibly clear. I've never been contacted, approached, or interviewed by police at any point in my life, and I do not have a record or any cautions. Claiming that I am a convicted criminal or have a criminal history is the first of many lies that will be covered in this video. There has at no point ever been a police investigation, but Alice has continuously lied to hide the truth about what really happened in our relationship and solidify the false narrative that she's built about me over the last year. Alice wrote all of these messages and posted the document.
For Claire's Law, you do need to be on a criminal record. Then why did Google lie to me? Have to be convicted. Okay, domestic violence disclosure. Okay, we read this part right here. We will put the guidance on blah, blah, blah. Okay, how are you going to do it? The act discloses to the Home Secretary to issue guidance to the Chief of Police about the disclosures of information by police forces for the purposes of preventing domestic abuse. The police must satisfy several tests before a decision to disclose is made under the scheme. That disclosure is necessary to protect the person from being the victim of a crime, that there is a pressing need for the disclosure, and that the interference with the perpetrator's rights is necessary and proportionate to the prevention of a future crime. Any decision to disclose under the scheme will be made based on the facts of each individual case. Domestic abuse protection orders under the Act and stalking protections orders, which was introduced in January of 2020, provide an additional tool for managing. Okay, I'm getting contradictory information, so I'm not sure. I think you're right. Like, it's on file that he's abusive, but not charged. Who was the Brit Bonger in here? Brea. Do you have a link for saying that they have to be on the criminal record for that? I'm curious, because everything that I'm reading just says that it has to be like an allegation with veracity, but either way.
Knowing that the police investigation was a lie, as it would not be possible for Alice to share any information if this was at any point an ongoing case. A YouTube commentary channel called Samuel said that she had been dealing with the police instead of immediately taking it to social media when he spoke to Alice.
Hey, I just thought I'd come in to say that I've spoke to Alice, the ex of Alex, and I've also spoke to IMALLEXX.
Not INABA,
now,
bro.
Alice is dealing with this with the police as well. Got the police involved. So instead of just immediately taking it to social media and speaking about it,
Hey, Jaden, how are you, dude?
it has also got the police involved beforehand, and is dealing with it that way. She's gone to the police about that, trying to get the situation sorted properly before she speaks about it online. Which is definitely a change. Usually people just immediately come online to speak about stuff and air it all out before going to the police.
This is a lie, as Alice had already posted months before she had released the document that I was on Claire's Law in a comment on TikTok in April 2020.
My experience, they never get saved. They have to find it on their own. Hopefully they know how to check Claire's Law. I mean, I don't know. She could be talking about something else here. I don't know. So far, I'm not loving this. You don't need to be convicted to have a criminal record in the UK. To have a criminal record, you just have to have prints, have been arrested. So being held at the police station can mean, oh, okay. Criminal record, but not convicted. Okay. So it's possible that he could be lying about being contacted by the police. I guess that's possible, right? That he could have been contacted by the police and now he's saying like, oh, I was never contacted. That's possible, but I don't know. So I guess it just depends. Let's keep going.
24. This would mean the police investigation had already finished.
There's no dates on the lower screenshot. It says 4/15 right here. But it could have been a different year, too. I don't know.
And that I would have a criminal record 3 months after we had broken up, which would be impossible. Alice had also posted a video in April saying that she wanted to save the next girl that I would date.
When it's so bad you don't get jealous of the next girl, you just want to save her. And then she said real to this.
Loca Donatet $19 amb 99 centaus truc superchat. Insuapi i amable tocat castrams. I enjoy your strams. It macas contenes i et tuvat second hand / vita group cenalona.
Thank you very much for the 1999. Hugely appreciated. Love, love, love. Live, laugh, love. Thank you so much. And I'm glad that you're here to have girl time with us. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you were able to catch us, bud. Okay. Are you ever going to talk about the stuff that Alex did, or just keep a passive-aggressively posting stuff? And then she said, I'll speak out about my own experiences when I'm ready. Don't push victims out for a reason that you wouldn't speak out. You have no idea how long it takes to actually heal. And then these don't have dates, to be fair. It just says 6 hours ago, 9 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago. So these could be from any time, I guess. I mean, the video, or this was reposted on April 15th. And I think these came out in March, so...
This clip is from a stream 2 months after Alice had posted videos and comments about me. Samuel says Alice does not want to come out and talk about this until after the police investigation had taken place, which was a lie. This is not how anything is unfolded publicly at all. Alice has been posting about me constantly and also released an entire document about me after lying that I was on Claire's Law. She did not wait for a police investigation.
I think that just calling your accuser a fucking liar like boldface is probably a losing strategy here, I would say. Like, again, I'm willing to conscript my services for evil if there's enough money in it.
Genoveva Simons donatet 5 lliures trucs superchat. Tos volaic Alex responsa iter don't know about uplo. Valieva that there's only one victim banter ara 3 orara offenders / apologists.
Thank you for the €5. And yeah, it just seems, I don't know, because I'm not from this side of the internet, so I don't really know anybody that likes fucking IMALLEXX, so I don't know necessarily how this is being overall received, because this like just happened this morning, so I don't know how everybody else is feeling about it. I haven't done like a vibe check, honestly, but like, I think that just straight coming out and saying the person that's accusing you of shit is a fucking liar is probably a losing strategy. Like I said, I'm willing to conscript my services for evil if the price is high enough. But the way, if you wanted to do this, okay, if you wanted to do this properly, you wouldn't present it as she's lying. You would just present it as like, oh, you know, it was a really stressful situation for the both of us. The two of us, you know, had a lot of issues and a lot of baggage in our relationship. And unfortunately, a lot of that played out publicly, which isn't really what either of us wanted, but you know, that's how it happened. Anyway, she has her recollection of events, which she may or may not feel are true to the nature of the relationship. I disagree. I obviously have a different perspective, and then here is the information that I have that reflects my experience with the relationship, and then you share that. Like, just coming out and straight being like, this bitch be lying is, in my opinion, a losing strategy here. This isn't really going to work, I think, at least for people who aren't, like, stupid, right? Because, again, like, if somebody says, that guy just punched me in the face, and you're like, that bitch is a fucking liar, and you're not like, no, I would never punch somebody in the face. That bitch be lying. That doesn't really work, right? Like, I don't know. Oh, they're pounds? I don't know what the little symbols mean. It's like you guys are sending me money in hieroglyphics and shit, okay? I appreciate all of my Euro bros in chat, but I don't know what the fuck you guys are, what you're sending me. When Noval is in here and he sends me that, it's like the DDK or DKK or whatever. What currency even is that? I don't know. I mean, I appreciate it either way. Thank you guys. But I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck this is, bro.
Because she knew there wasn't one. And Alice later admitted that this was the case and that the police didn't do anything. At one point, Alice claimed I hadn't responded as she speculated that the police had contacted me, and that was why I hadn't replied. Alice was upset this message had been leaked.
Oh, so that's a pound. Oh, it's a pound. The E the other way is a euro. Okay, thanks, guys.
In the YouTube video, and she hadn't intended for it to be posted publicly.
The fact private DMs get put in videos without contacting me or asking me information is crazy. It shows people are really out for themselves, not the party involved. Me, I would have been happy to approve. To say more on the matter, don't be sneaky about it. Contacting.
As it would be incredibly clear that she was lying about the police investigating me to the point where she was actively speculating and telling lies when questioned about it. At this time, Alice reached out to my ex-girlfriends privately and asked my ex-girlfriend Jess to plan a statement to back up hers, lying about the involvement of the police to convince people that her story was the truth. Alice has continued to post about me and harass me to this day, despite stating in her document that she was going to move on with her life after it was released in June. Since Alice's document, she went on to post many things on Twitter, TikTok, and in statements that contradict her story.
Like, this is going way too fast, okay? Like, it just seems fishy. You know what I mean? It just seems kind of fishy. And maybe that's me. Maybe that's a me thing. I don't know. But again, I think that somebody coming out and just being like, this bitch be lying is not the vibe, right?
One of the contradictions made was...
And true, men have crazy exes. Women that have crazy exes are dead, okay? Women never have a crazy ex-boyfriend story because those bitches are dead, okay? All right?
In a series of tweets Alice posted asking for YouTubers to reach out to her so she can do interviews for their videos on the false police investigation after her document was posted. Alice did multiple interviews where she has lied about me having a criminal record via Claire's Law and being under investigation by police. She continued doing this for months, and these lies have been shared in many videos. Alice said that she can give updates and that people should message her directly, even though in these messages Alice said that she hadn't received any updates or heard anything from police at all. She told YouTubers she couldn't share information until...
L i abuk donatet $5 truc superchat. Jo abatu remembez at Alex tuit that sasus responsa tu abusa llegations basbat, van sasus responsa bas uf divers reciabet responses.
Thank you for the $5, Layla Bug. And if I remember correctly, Alex was one of the people that went really hard at Slazo as well, which is ironic. There's just a lot of like group herd mentality in a lot of insular communities around allegations, which, I mean, it's understandable, but it's obviously not the best way to kind of evaluate if stuff is real or not. Like, and I mean, again, it's just like a beautiful slice of irony that this is where we've found ourselves, right? And you're right. He could take a few pages out of Slazo's book, in my opinion. And again, I don't think just immediately accusing the other person of being a liar is a good look, at least in my opinion. Maybe this works for some people, but that's something that always kind of like pings my interest, right? If somebody's like, no, you're not really addressing like your role in things, right? Because you have to not just look at what people are saying. You have to look at what people would say if the circumstances were different. Like if the reality of the situation of the circumstances were different, right? So here's an example. If somebody accused me of domestic violence or domestic abuse, I wouldn't spend a lot of time detailing and discrediting that person. I would just say, I didn't do that. That's not something that I did. Okay? And if somebody wants to provide evidence that this is something that I did, that's cool. I'll look at it. That's fine. Whatever the fuck. But this isn't something that I did, right? That's what you would say if you were put in that situation. The example I think that we used when we were originally watching this video, or this is an example at least that I've used before. If you're at the grocery store and you're minding your business and some random person goes, oh, that guy just grabbed my fucking ass. Oh my God, molester. Your response wouldn't be like, oh my God, evidence? Like, oh my God, like this bitch is crazy. Like I saw her doing smack in the parking lot. Like, holy shit, this bitch is a fucking liar. She's so ugly. You'd be like, I actually wasn't even near you. Like, what are you talking about right now? Like looking at the way that people respond to things is really important. And I think, again, if we're responding here to the allegation that we are a domestic abuser, starting this with, this bitch is a liar, instead of, I, in the relationship, never physically put my hands on her. In the relationship, I never did this. In the relationship, I never did that. Like, we didn't even try, right? We immediately went for, no, she's a liar, blah, 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 blah. Like, we're 5 minutes into this video. Granted, this video is very long. I think the very first thing you would say is, I was not abusive in this relationship. I think that's the first thing that you would say, right?
Everything with the false police investigation had finished.
And Alice as well, speaking to her, she does want to like come out and speak about this, like eventually after like all the police stuff, and just wants to be able to get all the information. She's got proof as well, and she wants to be able to get all that out there once she's spoken to the police properly.
This story at no point has made any sense, as Alice says that she would only post about this after the police investigation had finished, but then continued to say that the police were involved months after she had posted her document, which once again shows that Alice was lying the entire.
And then you also want to go by level of severity, right? I would say is another thing that would be important, where if somebody is, say, and especially because there are recordings, you bring up a very good point, Kaylee, is that there are recordings of a lot of these interactions, specifically where he's following her around the apartment, screaming at her the N-word, telling her that she's a dog, the allegations that he hit her, the allegations that he choked her, the allegations that she broke all of his shit, or that he broke all of her shit, excuse me. There's recordings of these things, right? So we're not starting with that. That's what we should be starting with, right? In my opinion. But you'd come out and be like, hey, there's some recordings floating around. And if you want to be really ballsy with it, you could just say the recordings are fake, right? But you just come out and be like, hey, there's some recordings that were recorded. And you could even say, without my consent. I didn't consent to being recorded in my state of emotional distress, right? There's some recordings. I said some really fucked up shit in these videos. It was either a joke, or it was taken out of context, or I didn't mean it like that, or even fall on the sword and be like, no, yeah, I was in a pretty, unstable, volatile place. I really wasn't acting like myself, and I did some things that were out of character for me. But I'm going to talk about that first. Like, it just seems like we're addressing the things that don't really need to be addressed right off the bat. And by quote unquote addressing, we're literally just saying that she's lying. We're not even like addressing the fact that there is video and audio recordings of him being, at the very least, verbally abusive to her. It's just kind of like an odd approach, I guess. I don't know if he had anybody help him with this, but whoever he was getting advice from in drafting this or writing this down, they did him dirty. This is like the Xander Hall editor treatment right here. Like, whoever helped him write this is fucking him hard, because this is not the way that you would want to do this.
Entire time. Alice claims she can provide updates to YouTubers in this tweet, but made an excuse to people she was arguing with on Twitter that the reason she couldn't provide updates to them was because of the fact that there was a police investigation, and that she wasn't allowed to share anything until it was finished. And that now it finally finished, she could share more information again. This makes no sense, as Alice had already shared an entire document about me, and was then asking people if she could continue to share more information about me in interviews on her Twitter that were then posted onto YouTube. Alice wrote right at the end of her document that for legal and obvious reasons, she wouldn't attach all the evidence she has, but in due time, it may be made public. Not only is this not how police investigations work, but Alice has not posted more evidence since, despite saying the supposed investigation had now ended. This is because there never was an investigation, as it was a lie. It would not have been possible for Alice to share anything at all by her own admission if there actually ever was a police investigation in place. Alice has continuously lied and claimed that this was the only thing stopping her from releasing information, and she acknowledged this herself in this tweet and when speaking to YouTubers. The reality,
To be fair, and again, we're kind of nitpicking a little bit here, if you file a police report, it's good to just like not talk about it. Even if it is, you know, something that you don't know what's going on in the background, it's better to just like not, just to like let it resolve itself, right? Like, it's probably not good to continue to litigate things like that publicly, because it could have implications and it could fuck up the investigation. So hypothetically, we know that she at the very least reported something, right? Like, she has the emails confirming that she did report something at the very least. Whether or not anything came of that report is a different question. But she did report something, so it actually makes complete fucking sense that she's not running around blabbing her mouth behind the scenes, dropping more hot goss when there is like a potential investigation happening, right? Like, I think that that's actually pretty common sense. And I hate to cite common sense, you guys. Whatever the fuck. But you know what I mean? Like, if I reported something, let's say that I report, I'm going to pick on Miss Jasmine. Let's say that I report Miss Jasmine for harassing me. Miss Jasmine is harassing the fuck out of me, you guys, and I file the report. I probably wouldn't come on here and blab about it, you know, talk to Miss Jasmine, share receipts of Miss Jasmine harassing me, showing this, showing that, showing the other thing on stream, because it's like, that could, you know, provide implications. It could be evidence that's used against me later if I show something that maybe I didn't give to the police, or, you know, God forbid, you say something that incriminates yourself and it totally invalidates the investigation. Like, you just don't do shit like that. Like, it would make sense to me that if she did report this, that she's like, I can't talk about it right now, maybe later, when, you know, shit kind of plays out or resolves in the way that, you know, where the chips fall as they may, what have you, right? Like, that would make sense. That isn't like odd. That isn't odd behavior, in my opinion. I think it would be odd if she filed a police report and she was like, okay, guys, tea time, everybody sit down. I'm going to read you the fucking police report verbatim that I filed today. That would probably be a bad choice, right? Because you're incriminating yourself. You could be implicating yourself, and you could fuck up the investigation by releasing information that may or may not have already been given to the police, right? So we're not doing good. We're not very far in here, but we're not doing very good.
The reality is, there never was a police investigation, which Alice later admitted to. This is why Alice decided to publicize a heavily edited version of events to damage my reputation with full stories and lies, like alleging I'm a convicted criminal with a criminal record. I have taken my time gathering information and evidence, as Alice has continued to lie about me and the abuse she put me through during our relationship, whilst blackmailing me and threatening me. Alice has created a one-sided
So is he gonna admit at all that he was also abusive here?
narrative that does not show the reality of what had happened during our relationship. Due to Alice's constant posting about me and my own personal issues, my response has been delayed many times.
What is going on here? This
Happened during our relationship. Due to Alice's constant posting about...
So I said the last time that we checked it on IMALLEXX, first of all, this guy's like 5'4", I think. I don't know what that is in British, but he's like 5'4". So very, very, very small man. And listen, I love my short kings, okay? Short kings and queens, rise up. You guys are beautiful. And then this guy has the phrenology of like an underdeveloped orangutan, like a failed abortion with an orangutan. Like, this guy has the most incredible British phrenology. Like, when you think of British people, this guy's face is what you see in your nightmares, okay? She is good looking. What is happening here? And then he told her in one of the videos, he's like, go get in the crate like a dog. Why would you ever let this man talk to you like that? You know, if fucking Idris Elba or Tom Hardy was like, get in the cage, I'd be like, woof, woof, I'm on my way, right? But this man... If this man told me to get in a cage, I would say, bitch, you better get in that cage before I beat your fucking ass, Mr. fucking Frodo Baggins. What are you talking about right now? I know you're not talking to me like that. Like, what is happening, dude?
About me and my own personal issues, my response has been delayed many times, and all of this will be covered throughout this video. When Alice's story was questioned by people on Twitter, she responded with threats to leak my phone number, whilst also insulting...
Wait, who's calling me trans? That's really offensive. That's disgusting. You guys know how I feel about trans people.
me and anyone who pointed out these inconsistencies in her document. Alice would then block these people after arguing and insulting them for replying to her
You're right, he's merry at best. I didn't mean to slander Frodo like that, my bad.
posts as they were highlighting many of the inconsistencies and lies that Alice had made. Alice changed her Google document multiple times to hide these criticisms and has cropped messages that showed her using the same racial slurs that she had accused me of bringing into our relationship, as it directly contradicted her story. This was unacceptable behavior, and I deeply regret using such—
And this is a talking point that I actually dislike. To be completely honest with you, this is something that I got hung up a lot on the first time that we covered this, because I think it was Queenman's coverage that I watched, and it's an interesting point, but I disagree with it entirely. So the idea is that if there is abuse that is present in a relationship, the person that introduces that physical violence, they kind of open that door. And that in turn is an escalatory factor. And without that other person bringing physical violence into the relationship, it never would have escalated to that. And I completely disagree. So the argument goes that Alice was the one who slapped Alex first. That she was the first person in the relationship to put her hands on, her partner. That she was the one that initiated the physical violence. And so the argument is that once you open that door, then it's kind of a no-holds-barred situation, that once you kind of escalate to that level, it becomes normal and there's a new threshold for what's acceptable in the relationship. And in some instances, that can be true. But based on what we had read when we went over the original document that Alice posted, I am a firm believer, and you will never convince me otherwise, because I'm just correct. I'm just correct on this point, okay? If you are in a relationship with somebody and somebody will break things or throw things or engage in property destruction in your presence as a way to physically intimidate, manipulate, or control you, that person will hit you. It's not an if, it is a when. So looking back at the screenshots, looking back at the escalation of violence in their relationship, both verbal and otherwise, you cannot convince me that at one point or another, he would have physically put hands on her regardless. Physical violence, in my opinion, from the outside looking in, was an inevitability in that relationship because of the way that Alex spoke to her. So there is a question of who introduced violence into the relationship. Sometimes that can, be a precipitating factor to escalatory violence in a relationship, certainly. But if you, again, and I mean this with my whole fucking heart, if you are with someone who will break things in your presence, who will throw things, who will destroy your belongings, who will destroy things around the house, okay, when they're upset, to get you to understand how upset they are, that person will put their fucking hands on you. That is going to happen, okay? It's not an if, it is a when, okay? And that is, in my opinion, why that argument can go right in the garbage. Because you can see the escalation from him. And in my opinion, it was a complete inevitability that was going to happen, whether she put hands on him or not. Maybe that kind of accelerated the process. Maybe it kind of sped up the process that we kind of saw occurring, right? But I do not believe in any circumstance that there never would have been physical violence in that relationship coming from him if she didn't do that. I don't believe that at all, so.
LEIL i Abuc Donatet $2 truc superchat. Inconvincet et va una livet a reventuell.
Thank you very much for the $2, Layla. And I don't disagree with you. One of the things that was really disturbing to read about was that I think he put her in a chokehold. He either choked her or put her in a headlock. One of the two. Obviously, you guys, everybody comes to, leaving their abusive people in their lives at different stages, okay? Everybody goes through that in a different way. Everybody processes it and is ready to go at a different time. Your partner is breaking shit, getting in your face, fucking screaming at you. I would leave. Your partner is hitting you. I would leave. If somebody ever puts their fucking hands around your throat, you run for the hills. That is the number one predictor for killing your intimate partner. That is the number one predictor, okay? If somebody is willing to put their hands around your neck, it is like, it exponentially increases the odds that that person will kill you. Not just hurt you, fucking kill you, okay? Yelling, screaming, breaking shit, not okay. Hitting, certainly not okay. The hands around the neck thing is a full stop. That is you fucking leave that second, okay? Because that is exceptionally dangerous. That is exceptionally dangerous, okay? All domestic violence is bad. you know, obviously all of it is bad. We shouldn't be doing any of it. But that is the one thing where you fucking run, okay? That is where you go and you never look back because that bitch can fucking kill you, okay? It is so easy to even if you don't mean to kill someone, even if you just want to, you know, why is my dinner cold, wench? If that's what you're going for, it is so easy to accidentally kill someone, even if that's not your intention. That's why this is a run, okay? Don't fucking put up with that shit. Don't put up with any of it, okay? Don't put up with any of it. But that itself is an absolute no.
Genoveva Simons donatet 2 lliures trucs superchat. Imagina being Alex fam if finding good about this.
That would be terrible. Thank you for the £2. Yeah, bad.
LEIL Yabuk donatet $2 trucs superchat. Also yet having to self-censor BC of the gods.
Thank you very much for the $2 though. I'm sorry that you're being censored. That's super fucked up. Like you guys, where am I? Guards! You're here to approve funny jokes. Guards! You're here to approve funny jokes. Make sure they're getting through, please. Thank you. That's your job.
Such horrific language, and this will be further addressed in this video. Alice has erased any evidence that these events had taken place or that she had been at any point abusive physically, verbally, or emotionally towards me.
Also, did he drop like a link to this script so I can look at this shit more? Blair's Law, this video is not monetized. Wild Ones, music, one song, Wild Ones, Flo Rida, and Sia. Interesting. Okay, so I don't have access to this, which I don't like because he's flashing these way too quick. I don't like that. And this video is 1 hour and 42 minutes long. There is no reason that we can't take our time with showing things on screen, in my opinion. So.
And this proceeds throughout her entire document, which has since been edited multiple times, which was pointed out by a user on Twitter. Alice's entire story has been built on lies, and in this video I will be showing screenshot evidence that directly refutes the claims that she has made against me, as Alice intentionally left out hundreds of text conversations that would disprove her stories and false narrative that she has created. Instead,
so even if everything that he's saying is true, let's just pretend it is for argument's sake here. Even if everything that he's saying is true, he's not denying that he was also abusive in the relationship. He's going to do the, well, we were both abusive. I'm sure that's where this is going.
It would show that Alice had been abusing me for our entire relationship, and that
this is 1.5, guys.
She has not stopped harassing me for the last year. Alice has made tweets stating that
Sergio Campos, cert. Donatet $2 truc superchat. Van you say wars. Eating of Terry Prechet.
I'm glad that I invoked such strong visual imagery for you.
I do not have any trauma from our relationship.
Thank you for the $2, Sergio.
Together, and that she never hit me. These statements are untrue, and in fact, Alice admits to slapping me and pushing me in another in her own document. Alice had also been kicking me, which she admitted to me on Facebook Messenger after she had lied that I was on Claire's Law. And all of this will be covered separately throughout this video. Alice has done all of this despite claiming she was never physically abusive at any point in our relationship, which is a lie.
She literally put in there that she slapped him. I don't know what he's talking about because that was in the Google document. It was included in the Google document that she slapped him. And then he's like, well, she keeps going back and editing this and editing that and editing that. I'm pretty sure that she went back and edited that in, which would be like a good thing, I guess. Like, I don't like the blanket implication that going back and like amending things is indicative of her like twisting the narrative or lying. Because it would make sense to me that if she like wrote that and then she was like, oh fuck, like I forgot to put this in here. Or, you know, it's actually, I think it's important for me to add in there that I too, you know, did something that was fucked up in the relationship. Like, at the very least, like just surface level engagement with this, it would show or it would point to me that at the very least she's willing to take the ownership of the wrong that she did in the relationship, right? Where she specifically says like it was fucked up. I shouldn't have put my hands on him. Like that was not appropriate at all. That was pretty fucking dumb of me, and you know that wasn't right. If anything, that shows to me that she's willing to go back and like correct things that she's done in the past. But so far, I haven't heard like any concession of like yes I did this, yes I did that, and it was fucked up of me. Like we're not like when I think of an accountability video, I think of, I did this thing, it was fucked up. I shouldn't have done it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it again, right? But that's not what this is. This is like, she's a liar, and she's lying, and she was also abusive, but not, I also did these things. I don't know. We still have time left, so maybe we're going to get into that. I guess we'll see.
Alice was physically abusing me regularly, which she has hidden and now lied about publicly. Alice also posted a series of tweets and argument on Twitter, stating that I do not have BPD, also known as borderline personality disorder. Alice has even gone as far as diagnosing...
Is he going to put his medical results on screen? This is Boogie wept.
...me as a narcissist in her document, and she claimed that she is an empath. I was diagnosed by my psychiatrist with what they believe to be...
God damn it! I fucking manifested it. God damn it! Oh my god. Okay, okay, Psychiatry UK. What do we have here? What is Alex, what is his last name? IMALLEXX. Okay, what do we? I'm making this big so I can read it. So he's on Ventralin. Where does it say on here what he's diagnosed with? Okay, forensic history, never engaged in antisocial behaviors, never, neither of the police involved. Past history of consistent misuse of cannabis, binge drinking, same queen, minus the cannabis. Alex engaged well with the interview, and a good relationship was maintained throughout the assessment. He spontaneously answered all the questions asked blank. At the time of the interview, mood appeared to be low. Okay, risk to self, past binge drinking, risk to others, denied, present past history of physical aggression towards other, past history of verbal aggression to former girlfriend, risk from others, no current risk, past relationship. Is there like a diagnosis on here? History of pleasant complaint. I'm glad to assess Mr. Alex, who self-referred to me upon concern of mood instability and anxiety. But I'm not seeing here. There's not a diagnosis. This is where the diagnosis would go. I don't know if you guys can see this. Can you see this? This is where the diagnosis would be, but there isn't one here. So maybe we're going to get a different one here because I'm not seeing a diagnosis of anything.
Emotionally unstable personality disorder, also known as borderline personality disorder.
Oh, is this in here? Okay. I believe that Alex might have been affected emotionally unstable personality disorder. A discussion was held on symptoms and presentations of this disorder, and I explained to Alex that BPD is a serious mental health condition with complex needs for which he should be under the care of a community mental health team in order to receive the most appropriate treatment with multidisciplinary approach. A discussion was also held on how there are no medications approved for the treatment of this disorder, but there is a broad consensus on psychotherapy, namely DBT or MBT, the primary treatment for borderline disorder. Hence, I recommended Alex be referred to the local mental health team so that
I was then referred to my local community mental health team after the diagnosis from my psychiatrist. To claim that I haven't been diagnosed with BPD is untrue. Alex has made multiple tweets spreading false information.
I mean, if we want to be really technical, he is diagnosed with disruptive mood disorder or
also known
whatever.
as borderline personality disorder.
What did he say? I missed it again. Sorry.
Diagnosed by my psychiatrist with what they believe to be emotionally unstable personality disorder.
Emotionally unstable personality disorder. Let's look that up in the ICD-10. Emotionally unstable personality disorder. ICD-10.
LEIL i Abub Donatet $2 truc superchat. God campeu plus top 3 into usa BP en excusa.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's pretty cringy gay. Okay, so we have here in the ICD 10, we have personality disorder that's characterized by a definite tendency to act impulsively and without consideration of consequences. The mood is unpredictable, capricious. There is a liability for outbursts of emotion incapacitating the behavioral explosions. There's a tendency to quarrelsome behavior and conflicts with others, especially when impulsive acts are thwarted or censored. Two or more types may be distinguished. The impulsive type, characterized by predominantly emotional instability and lack of impulse control, and the borderline type, characterized in addition by disturbances in self-images, aims, and internal preferences, by chronic feelings of emptiness, by intense and unstable interpersonal relationships, and the tendency of destructive behaviors, including suicide gestures and or attempts. Where is borderline in here? So that's emotionally unstable personality disorder. Where is borderline? Is borderline personality disorder not in the ICD-10? ICD-10. Borderline personality disorder. Is this the same code? F60.3. F60.3. Okay, so it's like an umbrella. I understand. If I'm understanding this, what did we say this was? Emotionally unstable personality. Emotionally unstable personality. Because there's two different types. It's the impulsive type, and the borderline type. But there's not. It's like, so in the ICD, it's EUPD, and then in the DSM, it's BPD. So it's basically the same fucking thing. Okay. So technicality. It's a technicality. Whatever.
Disorder, also known as borderline personality disorder. I was then referred to my local community mental health team after the diagnosis from my psychiatrist. The claim that I haven't been diagnosed with BPD is untrue. Alice has made
technically,
tweets spreading false information about my medical history, was continuing to lie during these arguments she has online regarding me. Alice replied to a tweet which she believed was about me, where she denied that I have BPD, as she thought the original tweet was in defense of me. When it was pointed out the tweets were not about me, and that they were about another YouTuber, Alice tried to justify her ongoing posts lying about me as simply sharing information, even though nobody had asked, and she had said she wasn't going to post about me after the document
Literally nobody asked.
due to the police investigation that she had lied about. Alice has continued to try and remain in control of the narrative surrounding me and my life for the last 12 months by spreading many lies, including this one. Alice has opened her document by saying that I will make a contradicting response to the allegations that she has made against me, and that after posting her statement she can move on with her life. But this was a lie, as Alice has continued to post about me many times online to this day, as I have shown and will show throughout this video. Alice claimed that I threatened her not to come forward with her story, and repeats this when talking with YouTube commentary channels. Alice shows no proof of this, and that is because this is the exact opposite, as Alice had been threatening and blackmailing me throughout our relationship.
Okay, I need this to go slower. Okay.
And will show throughout this video. Alice claimed
This is a sensitive subject because, okay, I need the screenshots. Let's go for it. Okay.
Alice shows no proof of me throughout our, as Alice had been.
Fix up or I'll break your Star Wars shit. Good night. Going to the family area tomorrow, so if you aren't there, don't bother because I'll be out here at mine. Here when? Never mind. Good night. I was going to put everything off to come to you. So he's highlighting this part. Fix up or I'll break your Star Wars shit. Benefit of the doubt, she could actually be threatening to break his shit, or it could just be like a joke, because sometimes when my wife is like, can you bring me my vape? I'm like, no, I'm going to throw it away. It could be, because I've said shit like that, because I'm like, if I have to go and get it, it's going in the garbage. But I'm joking. I'm not actually going to throw it away, but.
Been threatening.
You fucked it. Wow. He says, wow, what? You're a nightmare. She said, lucky I don't expose that shit, LMAO. And then he said, I just said I was looking forward to the house. And she said, let me update my story really quick. I needed this. I'm not calling you. You pushed me too far with everything. She said, I said, I'm scared, aka reassure me we'll be okay. He said, it's too much. And she said, you couldn't buy. Context would be helpful here, I guess.
Blackmailing me.
Then own it and stop messaging me. Say sorry publicly. I don't care what you want me to do. Just go away. And then he says, why publicly? And she says, because of why you're messaging me. And he said, but why would you want that? I don't know. This isn't really doing it for me, I guess.
Throughout our relationship.
He says, man, stay the fuck away from you. She said, you kicked me. He said, me, you psychotic freak. I'm not fucking dealing with this. She says, keep going. I'm adding it to the report. He says, you start shit today. What the fuck? She said, you did. You started it today. He said, leave me alone. She said, I was minding my business cleaning. And then, he said, you destroyed everything. Seriously. I hope you understand that. No walking back from this. And then she said, you did that. I don't know. I feel like documenting if your partner's being like fucking abusive to you isn't like a big. I don't know if I would consider, like, I guess you could say, oh, if you don't start acting right, I'm gonna put this in the Google Doc. But I mean, I don't know. If somebody was like beating the shit out of me, I would probably be documenting that as well. But I don't know. I could use a little bit more.
And
K, grow up, TBH, stop taking it out of me. What's the point? He said, can't deal with it. Speak. Don't just start making a call and then shout at me in public and threaten to hit me. She said, I was doing what you wanted in your time, not mine. He said, you went too far. She said, you did. I'm literally like, I don't even know what this is. I need more.
After it had
this is about, is this about me getting assaulted? I'm confused. She said, no, this is about us and what you did to me. He said, do you want to talk about it? She said, I want you to leave me alone the fuck forever and stop trying to be civil with me and say shit. Like behind my back saying I used to hit you is insane and I can sue you for that. I wouldn't consider that to be a threat. Like, you're saying that I did this, that, and the other thing. You know I could sue you for that. I don't know if that's like a threat. It's more of just like, hey, just so you know, if you're making shit up about me, I could sue you. Like, I don't know. I think that we're reaching a little bit. We're kind of embellishing here, in my opinion, but...
I had told my...
Okay, let's speed this back up. I don't like that.
My friends that Alice had been hitting me. Alice denied this on text when she found out and threatened to sue me if I continued to tell people she had been hitting me throughout our relationship. Alice says that my story will contradict hers, and that's because Alice knows our relationship is not how she has portrayed it online. Alice has lied constantly, and I can prove this with the text evidence that she's intentionally not included, as it contradicts her own story. Alice says we had a huge fight where I...
Okay, we had the worst arguments I've ever experienced with anyone, but after the move became even worse. On the fourth day of living together on October 19th, he had taken it to the next level and got in a physical fight. It started a screaming argument where I begged him to leave me alone and just stop. I ended up trying to get away from him, and he followed me. I went to walk downstairs, and he grabbed my hood and pulled me back until I fell on the floor. He told me that I'm not getting away, so I got up and made a run for the bathroom. He gets in my way, and he grabs me. He puts me in a headlock and covers my mouth because I'm screaming for him to get off me. I go to the bathroom. It's locked and locked it behind me. He screams from the other side, calling me crazy, telling me to leave the house after I've asked him to leave me alone. So again, if this happens to you, leave. This bitch will kill you.
dragged her, covered her mouth, and put her in a headlock, and that this happened on the 19th of October, a few days after we had moved in with each other. There are no texts from this time that even suggest that we were fighting or had been in a fight, and that's
Hey mom, just got in a fist fight with my boyfriend. Like, what do you mean?
because this did not happen. On the 19th of October, Alice asked
He's just saying it didn't happen. Okay. You coming or, so this is the 19th. You coming or, yes, which call? I'm in the server on a new game now. Hi, they're getting rid of the blind pick. Good. Dubai, come.
me to call, and the next text message was Alice asking me to sort out my bike in the garage. Later that same day, Alice asked me what's happening, and I tell her the cat had shut me in the cupboard because I was fixing our heating. And then that night we texted about packages arriving the next day. At 1 past midnight, Alice tells me she'd made me pizza, and on the 20th of October, Alice asked me what I want from the shop, and then we go on to talk about buying Pokemon cards. To claim we had a huge fight or I'd physically assaulted Alice is a lie. I never did these things Alice has accused me of doing, because this never happened. Alice has
Okay. I mean, we're just doing a he said, she said. Okay. I'll just say that I believe her that happened. Just because of, like, we saw, like, the negging and the nitpicking and the needling and whatever.
L.A. i Abuk Donatet $2 truc superchat. Crep show Archie.
Thank you for the $2. And yeah, it's eerily similar, but I mean, like, just from what we did see as far as the text messages were concerned, even if we go all the way to, like, his side of the aisle as far as this is concerned, in my opinion, at the very least, you could say that this was mutually abusive. Like, that's what you would say if we were, like, all the way on the other side of the fence, right? Like, the two paths diverge in a yellow wood, blah blah blah, right? I would say at the very least you could say that it was, like, mutually abusive. Maybe hypothetically, if you twisted my arm really hard, I might say that. But, like, generally speaking, I would say that there was physicality, like physical aggression in the relationship at the very least. At least, you know, I would believe that this guy would put her in a headlock just based on the conversations alone and the way that he talked to her. But I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. My orb is broken. I can't ponder it.
texted her mum and used this as proof that this event had taken place.
And true, we did have the videos as well. So, I mean, the videos are damning enough in my opinion. So yeah. And then this is texting mom.
After screenshotting the text in real time, as the messages display the words today instead of the date that they were taken. Alice knew she would be using them in her document and that she had been planning this full story about me. Alice just used these texts to make it seem like I'd physically...
And now it's a Machiavelli. She was planning weeks in advance to try and slander me. Okay.
assaulted her when this never happened. This isn't the only time Alice has used similar proof to claim something had happened which had never taken place at all, and she does this many times in her document. Alice provided a list of events that she had written herself directly into her notes app as evidence, and has attached them to her document as proof. But Alice was still writing these stories after she had said that she had moved out, which shows that these were written at a later date retroactively for this document.
Okay, and I mean, that doesn't really discredit anything. Like, after the fact, you're like, wow, I remember this happening, I remember that happening. Like, let's be super real. If you're in, like, a pretty high intensity, like, I don't know if anybody has ever, like, experienced adrenaline before, right? If you've ever experienced adrenaline before, the event that happens goes really fast, right? When you have adrenaline in your system, whatever's happening, it's like, shoo, it just happens. And you're like, holy shit, like, what the fuck? And then as you kind of settle down, you can think back and be like, oh, this happened. Oh, that happened. Oh, that's right. I remember this now. Like, that's why, especially with, like, instances of reporting sexual violence, like rapes and things like that, people usually come to remember more details after time because they've had time to, like, sit down and think about it. Because when you are in, you know, high adrenaline, like, fight or flight mode, your brain is like, phew, you're not able to, like, process things in real time. So it's not surprising to me that somebody who is in an abusive relationship, after they leave the relationship, has time to kind of reflect and process things that happened in the relationship and be like, oh, that's right, this happened. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, that was actually something that was really fucked up that happened. Like, that isn't uncommon and that isn't weird to me. You know what I mean? That's actually pretty par for the course, especially, again, if you've ever had adrenaline in your body, like, one time. That's just how your brain works. The event goes by very quickly and you don't really have the ability to kind of sit down and process and think about it until after the fact, right?
Anyone could have written down anything on any date and claimed that it was true. Writing down words into a notes app can be done at any time, and is in no way, shape, or form proof that something happened. The texts between us from that time reflect a totally different story that Alice has not included in her document, even though she provided an exact date of the day this had apparently taken place. Instead, Alice has fabricated a story entirely, and has accused me of being physically abusive to hide the fact that she had been slapping, punching, and kicking me throughout our relationship. Something that she had tried to hide from her document, and has lied about on Twitter publicly. At no point has this story ever been consistent, as Alice said that this happened on the 4th day that we moved in with each other in her document and in her notes app, but then it texted me that it happened on the 2nd. And to be clear, the text messages from the 17th of October also show that this was not the case. Alice started to accuse...
again, we can, I don't know, it's one of those things where I don't know how to explain it any other way other than like when you're in the shit, your brain is zooming, bro. Your brain is fucking zooming. So it makes sense that after you've had time to kind of sit down and compartmentalize it, okay? Like that's fair. Let's pretend now that she did lie about this event, okay? Let's say that he didn't choke her, he didn't put her in a headlock and cover her mouth on the exact date that is recorded here or whatever. Let's just say it never happened. Okay, what about you following her around the apartment? What about you threatening her? What about you kicking her? What about you verbally berating her? What about you, breaking things? What about you destroying her shit? Like, what about that? Like, if we take this choking thing off the table and we just say, this is total bullshit, never happened, totally fake news, whatever, it's all bullshit. The rest of it is still pretty damning, in my opinion, right? Like, obviously, we're going to get to it, but nonetheless.
Accused me of being physically abusive with her after I had asked her multiple times to stop her constant physical attacks on me. Because these continued, I had asked to break up. The first time Alice ever mentioned that this assault had apparently happened was when we were in an argument on the day we broke up, and I told her to leave the house. Alice accused me of grabbing her.
How? Being abusive and saying sorry, what the fuck? Still doing it, by the way. I haven't been at all. Still have. I'm not fucking hearing this. You literally kicked me. No, man, you're insane. You've dragged me. You've covered my mouth. Oh my god, no, I haven't. Go away. You've headlocked me. What the fuck?
Apparently happened was when we were in an argument on the day we broke up, and I told her to leave the house. Alice accused me of grabbing her and said she could prove that this had happened because she had written down the date in her notes app, and then started to blackmail me and threaten me that she would go to the police and start calling me.
If you put my things outside, I'm calling the police, you actually have a serious issue. So do that, you'll have the police at your door. And like, maybe this is a me thing. If I got in a breakup with somebody and I moved out, like let's just say I found out that my wife killed my mom, and I'm like, oh god, it's over, babe, I'm so sorry, I'm leaving. If I was not at the house and my wife texted me and was like, I'm putting all of your shit outside right now, I would be like, do that and I'm calling the cops. I will have 911 on speed dial so fucking quick, bro. Like, you're gonna ruin all of my shit for what? Yeah, like maybe this is a me thing, but I don't give a shit about this. If I was in a relationship with somebody and we broke up, and by her account, she had like thousands of dollars worth of expensive electronics. If somebody was like, I'm gonna put thousands of dollars worth of your electronics outside, I'd be like, yeah, bet. No, you're not. No, the fuck you're not. Bet. Right? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's a me thing.
Me an abuser. I denied this ever happening and explained how it disturbed me that Alice was trying to gaslight me into believing.
Reminding you that you seem to have forgotten how abusive you are. I forgave and forgave. Man, say away. You kicked me. Okay, we're showing the exact same the exact same screenshots over and over and over again. Also, what is this? 143 notifications. How do people live like this, bro? How do people live? 143 notifications. How do people live like this? There are people walking among. I have a friend who has like 3,000 emails. I'm like, how do you live? How do you live like this, bro? What are you doing right now? It stresses me out. It makes me really upset. It makes me really upset. It stresses. What the fuck is happening right now? Where am I here? Just doing a quick survey really quick, you guys. I see 59 likes on the video and there's 153 people in chat. So that means just about 100 of you are fucking freeloading, which is just completely fucking unacceptable in my opinion. Like, that's fucking disgusting. That's just simply not right. So let's go ahead and pump that up, you guys. That's simply just inappropriate, okay? And also, while you're down there hovering by the like button, you can actually see in the video description that you can check out my merch. There's sweatshirts, stickers, and patches, as well as t-shirts galore for your consuming pleasure, for your capitalistic ventures and desires. And also, streaming on Kick. Streaming on Kick right now. There's a few little nerds in there right now, you guys. They're all over there right now. So you guys can also hang out and Kick if you so desire. It's quite delicious, quite yum. So go ahead and do that and pump up the jams, guys.
Believing that this had taken place. I had asked Alice not to come back to the house and that I would leave her stuff in the garage because I wanted to break up and I didn't want her near me anymore, and she had been assaulting me and threatening me since we had started dating. When Alice had left the house, I finally thought I could escape our relationship and that I wouldn't have to see her again. This is when Alice began to start blackmailing me and threatening me because I was asking her to stay away. Alice told me that she was going I wouldn't have to see her again. This is when Alice began
putting your PC outside in the garage and all your other stuff, and I'll post you being abusive then, so maybe don't. Maybe chill out for a day. I've had to cancel tomorrow. You've destroyed everything for what? Because I meant to do everything for you. Insane. Don't come back. Can't believe you actually left over cleaning the kitchen. Put so much stress on me for nothing. It's so fucking weird. Don't ever contact me again. I left the house because you kicked me and
start
insulted
blackmailing me and threatening me because I was asking her to stay away. Alice told me that she was going
Damn, then she said, I left the house because you kicked me and insulted me. If you put my things outside, I'm calling the police and actually have a serious issue then. He said, I'm not putting it outside. It would be in the garage. Why would I want it in here? You left. She said, for a night. He said, what do you want me to do? She said, leave it alone. He said, so what, you're coming back? Chill out. This is about the shit that you do. I mean, yeah, this is like crazy. Get in a fight, leave, take some time, whatever the fuck. I'm putting all of your shit outside. No, the fuck you're not. What do you want me to do with it then? Leave it there. I'll come back and get it. Oh, so you're coming back? Like, if anything, these make him look a little fucking delulu, no? Like, I'm reading this as a little bit of delulu on his end there. Because I'm imagining you get in a fight, okay? Severity, off the charts, okay? A very severe fight. Your significant other leaves. Your first thought is to, like, gather up all their shit and throw it outside. That, we're kind of cranking it up a little bit there. We're kind of stepping on the gas, right? Like, oh, so you're coming back then? To get my shit, yes, dumb fuck. I am gonna come back and get my stuff. Like, I think that this is just making him look worse, truthfully.
To come back and that she was only gone for a night. When I told Alice I didn't want her to come back, she accused me of physically abusing her. Alice then threatened to report this lie to the police to stop me from
Okay, these are the same text messages.
I knew that now, if I tried to leave, Alice would accuse me of
I understand why the screenshots are going so fast, because he's just showing the same ones over and over again. I understand.
physically abusing her, as she had used this to get me to back down from trying to end our relationship in this conversation. The false accusations and police threats were the final straw. I did not want to be blackmailed again into staying in our relationship. Alice continued to insist that I...
At what point in any of these screenshots that we've seen, or any of the screenshots that were provided to us in the Google document, did it show that she wanted to keep the relationship? Because I remember vividly, and I can even pull it up. Where is it here? I have it. Does this look like somebody who is like, no, I'm over the relationship? Look at this. April 16th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87. And then these are the 17th of April, so a totally different day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Here's Amazon gift that was ordered, and then I had to read, I'm sorry for upsetting you. I hope that we can talk, blah, blah, blah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then we have these love letters that keep getting sent. This is a multi-page love letter that was sent. Yeah, dude, you were really like, I'm so fucking over this. I was so fucking over this. Where's the video in here? Where's the video of him fucking crying? I think it's this one. If I remember correctly, I have to download these. Is it this one? That's gonna play.
Yeah,
it's this one. Hang on, let me speed it up. It's just it's buffering painfully.
All of that. I should have done it all in the first week. I'm really deeply sorry that it took me this long to really reflect properly on everything. I was still victimizing myself, and it was wrong of me. In reality, you were just trying to say it's not my fault and I'm doing my best. But instead I thought you were using it because I so convinced myself that...
Yeah, okay, you're right. You were over it. You were done with the relationship. You were so tired of being abused, you literally had to beat her off with a stick to keep her away from you because she wouldn't leave you alone. She was stalking you, harassing you, following you around the street, just begging on her hands and knees for you to come back to the relationship. Why send like 300 fucking text messages asking her to come back? When she doesn't respond, you send more text messages, and then you send her gifts, you send her letters, and you send her videos of you fucking crying. Probably not. This is not someone who is like, wow, I literally could not get her to accept the breakup. She accepted it just fine. It looks like you were the one that was a groveling little worm that was trying to be like, please come back. I promise, baby. I'm so sorry. I just haven't done I'm trying, baby, please. That's what that sounds like to me. So.
Assaulted her in our argument over text, but as I've shown, we were completely fine on the 19th of October because this fight never took place. Alice.
Oh my god, because you had a nice calm conversation after a big fucking fight. There was no fight. Yeah, that's not really how that works. This is something that is pretty difficult. Is I know a lot of people in my life that can like code, not even code switch, but like they kind of get over stuff really quickly. Like get in an argument, take like 10 minutes. It's like, hey, you want to go get lunch? And I'm like, no, I'm still really mad at you and I hate you. Like I'm not ready to get lunch yet, right? Like it's actually not like indicative that nothing happened just because somebody doesn't perseverate on it for like hours after the fact, right? Like that doesn't really mean that at all, actually.
Genoveva Simons donatet 2 lliures trucs superchat. Eon limada dis va causa se didn't come back.
I actually completely agree. Thank you for the £2. I completely agree with that. He's only now lashing out because he wasn't able to get her to come back, yeah.
Has created this story because she'd been threatening me for our entire relationship with ruining my life and career, and she knew she could bully me into submission and control me with these accusations and threats. Alice had told me that she had recorded me during my manic episodes, and when I reacted to the constant threats and physical attacks in our relationship. Alice would threaten to post these videos when I tried to leave and when we argued.
Oh my god, calling her the N-word and telling her that she's a fucking dog and a freak and threatening to bash her fucking head in was just a manic episode. Oh, spare me.
I felt that I had no choice but to stay when Alice threatened me. Alice has carefully selected these screenshots to hide me denying the physical abuse and to paint a completely different story, which is untrue. In the full thread that Alice hasn't shown, I told Alice I'd only tried to hug her, as I was not talking about grabbing Alice at all at any point in the conversation that she has tried to misrepresent. And when we discussed this at a later date, Alice says that I had hugged her and that I had walked away to avoid us fighting, which is not what she's tried to portray in her document at all. In one argument, Alice accused me of dragging her again, to which I sent her a voice message where I told her that it didn't happen.
I'm so confused here, Alice. Like, this morning, I was just trying to talk to you normally. I tried to call you, tried to have a normal conversation, and you escalate it to this. I don't understand. I don't understand, like, why this? Why does it have to be this? Why couldn't you just let me talk to you, like, have just a normal conversation today? Why did you, like, do you want it to be this? I don't want to fight you. I don't want to have fights with you.
Why do you want it to be this? Want it to be what? Want it to be what? Drag out fights? Is that what it is, and you don't want to say it? Interesting.
I don't want to have angry text messages with you, and I also don't want to be accused of doing stuff that I haven't done.
Alice then mocked me because I brought up her slapping me. Alice texted me in response saying, "You're mad if you want to say I'd slap you," even though Alice has now admitted she slapped me in the document that she posted. In these texts, I said that Alice pushed me away and gave me shit 24/7 to the point where I didn't want to sleep in the same bed as her. At this point, we were sending messages at the exact same time. This makes it look like we were responding to each other, but we were sending these messages simultaneously, as shown in these screenshots. When I said that Alice can't go around screaming in our house, it was because it was attached to the message where I was explaining why I had started to sleep downstairs because she would punch, kick, and scream at me, so I'd been forced to sleep on the sofa. Because we lived in a rented house, I didn't want to be evicted because of the constant arguments and screaming when I would sleep upstairs. Alice has cropped these messages intentionally to hide the entire context of this conversation. Alice has not only not shown these texts from when this apparent fight took place, but has now cut around messages to portray a story which is untrue. Alice hit me many times throughout our relationship, and this happened consistently from the moment that we started dating. Alice would use physical violence when I refused to do as she had asked, and this is something she admitted to in a conversation on Facebook Messenger. When I brought up that she had been assaulting me for our—
Oh, so this is the one that she posted in her own Google document as well. And like I said, I'll give you guys the link if you want to read through all this shit yourself, because I'm not going to reread the entire thing. And you said that you slapped me yesterday. Yes, I slapped you in the face one time. Name a girl who hasn't slapped a huge asshole. And this was in relation to him, like, getting in her face and, like, fucking screaming at her. And so her response was to, like, hit him, which is obviously not appropriate. Okay, you guys shouldn't be putting your hands on other people, blah, 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 right? But nonetheless, I think that a reactive incident of aggression is very different than like an antagonistic or intentional action of violence, right? Like, I think that if somebody runs up to you, like is running at you, and you're scared that this person is going to like tackle you or something, and so you Spartan kick them in the chest, and they're like, dude, what the fuck? I was just running up to give you a hug. I think that that is different than just fighting a homeless person sleeping on the ground and kicking them in the back of the head. Like, these two things are going to be totally different, right? Because one is kind of like you're reactively trying to protect yourself, which may or may not be appropriate depending on the circumstances. But the other is just like a malicious act to like hurt somebody else. And so I would say that in this instance where like he is physically intimidating her, yelling at her, posturing at her in her fucking face, if that is the accurate retelling of events, I would consider that to be completely fucking different than just hitting somebody because you can or because you're mad enough that you want to put your hands on them. I would consider those to be two totally different fucking things, right?
Our relationship, Alice responded by saying that any girl would have done the same. Alice also went on to send me a message where she said that her kicking me was probably uncalled for. I messaged Alice about her assaulting me on Facebook after she had posted TikToks calling me an abuser and lied that I was on Claire's Law and under a police investigation. I questioned why Alice was doing this when she had been physically—
I understand why this video is so long. We're just saying the same thing over and over again.
assaulting me throughout our relationship. I told her because of this, I would have to defend myself because of the accusations she had posted publicly. This is when Alice threatened to sue me for suggesting that she had slapped me, which she later admitted to in her document. I messaged Alice about the time she had kicked me, which had led to me sleeping on the sofa and staying away from her to stop her from assaulting me. I retold this story on messages, and Alice replied saying she didn't just start kicking me randomly.
I didn't just start randomly kicking you. I probably pushed you away. Can you play the whole thing? I didn't kick you multiple times and hard. And then we can text. I'm trying, but okay, but can we talk about this after? I didn't randomly start kicking you. And I'm sorry. I would have gone into more details. I'm just a mess. Okay, I know we were just arguing. I did something. I can't remember what. Something dumb. Like I was in bed naked and you told me to sleep downstairs. So it sounds like he got in the bed naked and she just kind of kicked him out of the bed. You guys, my wife pushes me out of the bed all the time. Okay, that happens regularly because I'm a blanket whore. I love the blankets, okay? I want all the blankets. I also grind my teeth in my sleep. Fun Malcolm fact of the day. So I actually get violently woken up many nights because I'm grinding my teeth in my sleep and my wife wakes me up to be like, can you stop doing that? That's what this reads to me like, is I kicked you out of bed because you were doing something dumb in bed, right? I don't read this as oh my god, she fucking, this is Sparta to me, out of the fucking bed. That's how I read this, but whatever. Teeth grinders, rise up.
For no reason. Alice admits in these messages that she was kicking me because I had refused to put my shirt on, which is her reason for assaulting me. Alice responded with, yeah, that's pretty stupid, in response to me refusing to put my shirt on. This is because I had a skin condition that Alice was aware of. I said it was stupid at the time because I regretted not just doing it.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. Yeah, dude, if you have... Okay, imagine that you have somebody who has, flaky, dry, nasty, crusty skin, and they get in your bed without a shirt on, and you're like, bro, get the fuck out of my bed! You're getting your skin flakes all over my fucking sheets, bro! Get out of my fucking bed! And they're like, you just, domestically assaulted me. Why? Because I have a condition? It's yes, flaky, get out of my fucking bed!
Mrs. Mina donatet $5 through superchat. It's almost like is repeating himself in such a long video to confuse people watching it into thinking he has more evidence than he actually does.
I agree, Miss Jasmine. Thank you for the $5. It's we're just kind of playing this on a loop. It's like a little minstrel show. We're just gonna get the same thing over and over again. Because I gotta be totally real with you. If somebody with dandruff came over and they were like, "Is it okay if I sleep in your bed? No homo. I'll put the pillows between us, but can I just sleep in the bed, please, so I don't have to sleep on the couch?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And then they were like, "Oh, thank God." And then they start doing this with their dandruff into my bed. That bitch is getting karate chopped. The karate chop to the fucking back of the head. It's get your fucking dandruff out of my bed, bro. What are you doing right now? What are you doing right now? And even again, it could be playful, right? I don't know. Again, I get violently woken up regularly because I'm grinding my teeth in my sleep. It's not oh my God, you guys, I'm a battered wife. My wife shook me awake again because I was grinding my teeth, and it's I don't know what it is. It's no, I probably should stop grinding my teeth. It's not good for my teeth. And it's yeah. Kind of got to get a little bit of an aggressive shake in there to get me awake, so I'm not grinding my teeth. It's fine. I don't know.
Alice had asked if I would have avoided her assaulting me, and we wouldn't have ended up arguing. We had also texted about this exact situation. I told Alice I didn't want to upset her. She was angry that I no longer would share.
I don't want to upset you. That's why I was asking questions in the kitchen. She said, read the room. I wanted you to be with me, my God. And then he said, yeah, but then you call me fat and kick me in bed. Guys, and she called him fat? He doesn't even have fat hands. Wow, she was also fat phobic to him. This is actually really getting concerning. I can't believe that she would be fat phobic towards him. That's really fucked up. Have you ever been in a relationship before? Yeah, I get kicked out of the bed all the time because I'm snoring, because I'm grinding my teeth, because I'm stealing the blankets, because I'm watching TV too loudly, because my TikToks, that's, yeah, a rollover and being hey, that happens all the time. What do you, that's just, yes, what? And then she called me a fat fuck.
share a bed with her anymore because she had been kicking me and calling me fat because I told her that I couldn't sleep with a shirt on because of my illness. I've had a skin condition since 2021 that was brought on by stress. This skin condition would cause me to have full body itching episodes when I was touched, pushed, or hit, and it made it very hard for me to sleep. I was told.
So you were shedding in the bed. You were shedding in the bed. I would also kick you out of the bed. If somebody is shedding in my bed, oh yeah, you're getting kicked out.
By my doctor to try and avoid stressful situations.
Bro, I can't sleep with a night guard. They're very uncomfortable. I cannot sleep with like a hockey puck in my fucking mouth, okay? I can't do it. Leave me alone.
And to stay dry and avoid warmth as it was seemingly making it worse. This is why I would sleep with no shirt on. When we first started dating, it was minimal around the stomach area, but a few months into our relationship, it had spread to my entire body. Throughout my time with Alice,
And I
it got
started
worse.
shedding in the
The
bed.
stress of our relationship and other issues I was having at the time were having a huge effect on me, and Alice was aware of this. Originally, she seemed supportive, but it quickly became.
What did that say? Sorry for shedding in the bed, babe.
Were having a huge effect on me, and Alice was aware of this.
I've got, like, to put cream to get rid of it. I could just do it as well. I just want to know Goddamnit's getting worse. She said, yeah, don't worry, I'll help you. Is it just cream you have to use? He said, yeah. She said, no medicine things. I take antibiotics, okay. Okay, so she's literally just being like, yeah, you can put antibiotics on. Okay, again, this is totally different than somebody shedding in your bed. That is a criminal offense. That is, your punishment is death. If you are shedding in, if you are flaking, if you are like a crispy little overbaked pie crust in my bed, yes, that is punishable by death, yes.
Originally, she seemed supportive, but it quickly became something that she would use to hurt me. Alice started by calling me fat and texting in person.
I'm sorry. And then she started calling me fat. Okay, let me see these text messages. Let's see.
Originally, she seemed supportive, but it quickly became something that she would use to hurt me. Alice started.
You fat fuck. You fat fucking monkey. Dude, what the fuck is this? Oh, and then she called. Okay, I would lead with this right here, Alex. You missed this one where she called you a pedophile. Why didn't you do this one? She's calling you fat. What is this, bro? Can we get like some context to this? Can I get some context to this? Like just flashing screenshots of somebody being like, you little fatty fuck doesn't really do anything to me. You fat little fuck. You little oinker. You little piggy fat fuck. Like that doesn't. I don't. What are we doing here? What is happening?
By calling me fat and texting in person.
I didn't make it about. I didn't make it about me. You fat c word. You fat fuck. You little fatty fuck. You little fat fuck. Little oinker. Oh, little piggy. Little fat pig. The three little pigs, you're all three of them because you're so fucking fat. Post hands. Let's see them. Let's see those oinkers.
And this was because she wanted me to keep my shirt on.
Recently it's been pretty long. She said, I'm not happy right now. He said, like, there's so many times in bed you've said stuff to me, and, like, I just have to go and sleep downstairs. So it sounds like she's hurting his fifis and he's sleeping downstairs. But then you called me fat and kicked me in bed. Get your fat flakes out of my bed. Get your fat skin flakes out of my bed. I need more context for this, you guys. I need more context for this.
Because she did not like my illness, and she didn't want to see it or be around it. We were in bed together.
She didn't like my what? Did he say my anus?
But it quickly became something that she would use to hurt me. Alice started by calling me fat and texting in person, and this was because she wanted me to keep my shirt on because she did not like my illness, and she didn't want to see.
Oh, my illness. Oh, so she's ableist too. Call me ableist if you have a skin condition and you're shedding. That's a problem. We're gonna have to put like a bag on you or something when you're walking around because I don't want you to get. I don't want to have to vacuum like 6 times a day to clean up your flakes.
It or be around it. We were in bed together, and Alice told me when I took my shirt off that if I was going to do that, then she wanted me to sleep downstairs. I told Alice I wasn't going to do that because I wanted to sleep in our bed that night, and she complained that I spent too much time away from her. This angered Alice.
Yeah, whatever. I've already said it. I
ignored her and turned away so I could go to sleep. Alice turned around in bed and kicked me in my lower back, and I told her to fuck off. And then she kicked me even harder, and then started donkey.
Oh my god, she was pushing you with her feet out of the bed. Like, okay, if she's like kicking the shit out of him, like a Ben Thorpe kick, like a kick, that's not appropriate. That's obviously bad, and we shouldn't be doing that. I completely agree. We should keep our feet to ourselves, you guys, in every context under the sun, okay? Keep your feet to yourselves. But like, if I'm understanding this correctly, it was kind of like a get out of the bed, you're shedding on the fucking bed, and then kind of like a boop. If that's what it was, okay, whatever, I don't care. If she was like straight up like, this is Sparta, into his fucking back, that's not appropriate. But, I mean, It's really just becoming a he said, she said. Like, it is a no, you were the one that kicked me. No, you kicked me. No, you kicked me. And again, just based on the video recordings of him being like a fucking psycho, the evidence of all of her shit being broken, and then the way that he would speak to her in DMs, I would just say, you know, it's like, I don't know.
He kicked me in my neck and in the back of my head. Alice had done this so
In the
hard
back of
I
the
fell out
head.
of bed while she was still kicking me. I proceeded to get incredibly angry. And I
Okay,
shouted at her.
also, what if it was the ultimate move? I don't know if I can do this. Like, you know, if you're like in a predicament and you're on your back and somebody's trying to get you, and so you do, hang on, like one of these. Like one of these. I think this is acceptable. This is like the ultimate self-defense mood. You know, somebody's like, they're going to get you and you hit them with the, no, like the bicycle kick. Like, I feel like that's acceptable. Like if we're, you know, play fighting or whatever, that's a forbidden move because it's like, it's cheating. You can't do that. You can't, that's cheating. If you're play fighting, you can't do that. It's a forbidden move. That's like the forbidden dark magic. But like, it sounds to me like that's what was happening as she was doing like the little bicycle kicks. Like, oh my God, you're flaking in the bed, get out. Like, which, I mean, yeah, me too. I also want you to flake somewhere else. Yeah, I would agree.
Alice, and I insulted her. And this is something that I deeply regret doing. When I messaged Alice about this on Facebook, she said that she didn't just start kicking me hard. The argument had got worse, and we both started insulting each other. Alice then pushed me and tried to hit me. This is when I grabbed Alice by the arms and I pulled her to the floor. This is the only time that I tried to defend myself after Alice had tried to
And then I suplexed her to get her to stop.
attack me after kicking me in the back of the head. Alice says in the messages that she didn't do it for no reason, as she believed that because I'd refused to sleep downstairs without my shirt on, that made it acceptable to kick me because I'd refused to do what Alice had asked. Alice has also written in her document that I had accused her of hitting me when we were in bed because I was talking to our cat, and Alice has put this story last in her document.
I was
Alice
talking
says that
to the
this story about
cat.
the cat is a lie and that it didn't happen, and wrote this. At this point, he's trying to use a situation with that cat and manipulate the story. I can show what really happened here. Alice has shown 5 screenshots of this conversation.
This is when he said that he was going to kill the cat. She says, is that what you want? You didn't tell him to do, just said, don't talk to the cat, I'm 24. And then he says, you say weird shit. And she says, I don't want to live with someone who's saying, I can't talk to the cat, weird shit. And she says, be normal and say that you love it or something. And he said, oh my God, you're actually doubling down. And she says, look at you. And he says, so for it to all be nothing, it's hard. I'd rather not work, to sit on the sofa with you all day and the cat, be peaceful. I feel these are, oh, she dodged a kiss, really fucked up. But he was like saying that he was gonna like fucking kill the cat and shit. And so she was like, please don't talk to the cat if you're gonna threaten to kill it. That seems kind of fair to me. Please don't say anything to the cat if you don't have anything nice to say. If you don't have anything nice to say to the cat, don't say anything to the cat at all. That seems kind of fair to me.
And has portrayed it as the whole story. Alice does not show the hundreds of texts where she admits to getting physical.
Oh no, I'm sorry guys, I didn't switch over. Sorry. I was demonstrating the bicycle kick, my bad.
And trying to hurt me whilst also downplaying the
My bad.
seriousness of physical attacks on me whilst justifying them. This was purposely hidden, as it would show that Alice was physically abusing me, which is why she shows this screenshot and has cut off the first part of the conversation where I'd asked Alice why she had tried to hit me, in which she belittles and insults me for suggesting that she had assaulted me, even though she admits to getting physical in the text that she did not show. Alice then went on to write this. I had told him to stop saying weird things to the cat, he was joking about taking him away, and why would I let someone who told me they break my cat's neck near my cat? This was an argument around mine, so there is no texts. This is not true at all, and not how this took place, which will be shown in these text messages.
Okay,
For context before I read them, me and Alice were in bed together when our cat Bear entered the room, jumped onto the bed and sat on my chest. I began talking to the cat in a silly voice, and Alice was laughing with me. I was jokingly saying I was going to eat him if he got any closer, and it was very apparent that I did not mean this literally, and that I was in fact joking, as we had done together throughout our relationship. Alice even acknowledges that I was joking in her document at the time. Alice said this in her document. He then goes on to say I have punched him in the face over the cat. This is the Lulu Island we're on now, because he's trying to grab onto anything he can to create his story. This didn't happen, and I couldn't tell you where he cooked this up from. This is from an argument where he was being horrible, had the cat in his arms, and came up to me making jokes about taking him away. Alex was in my face all over me doing this, so I pushed him off of me. I got this story from our own text that Alice has left out of her document. It is not something that I had cooked up, and I'm not creating my own story, as there were hundreds of texts of me complaining when it happened that Alice doesn't show, which I will read for full clarity. Alice admits that I was making jokes in her document, but then says I was being horrible, which is untrue and completely contradictory to what Alice had written, where she fully admits that I was joking at the time. Alice calls me
please read
delusional
them to me.
and says I'm on Delulu Island for thinking that Alice had physically assaulted me for joking about the cat, but has written in her own document that she did push me, and that it was because of me making these jokes about the cat. Alice texted me saying she hadn't hit me, and this was after I'd accused her of punching me in our bedroom in person, and then I had walked away. Before I left, I asked Alice to pack her things and leave, as I was not comfortable with being hit in our relationship, and this was not the first time that Alice had hit me. At first, Alice completely denied even trying to hit me at all, and then responded with her reason for why she got physical with me, as it was due to me saying I was going to take the cat.
Yeah, so she said that she didn't try to hit him, she was trying to push him away. Like, she was trying to get him away from, like, she got the cat and was like trying to like push him away, right? Like that's different than like square up, bitch. Like I just feel like that like this just seems like we're kind of finding any kind of like gap in communication and then like wedging in it and prying it open to like kind of embellish, right? Because realistically, if I'm holding my cat, I'm holding him like a small baby, and it's like, no, like get away from the cat, stop. This is different than like boom, 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 right? Like this is different. Like this is a different scenario. Like I don't think that like, and if you know, are trying to like get somebody away from you and you're like, hey, back up, and you accidentally hit somebody in the face, like you're not like, get bitch, but you're like, hey, move, and then you like might hit him in the face or something like that. I think that that's different. I just think again that we're taking like these really minor things where it's like, she's saying like, if I did hit you, my bad, I was trying to get you away from me because I was trying to like hold the cat or whatever the fuck, right? Like that is different to me than her like beating the shit out of him, which if that's what was happening is inappropriate. Obviously that's bad and we shouldn't be doing that, but that's not how it comes across anyway.
Away as a joke. I was incredibly thrown off by this as it was minutes after Alice had assaulted me. Alice began to gaslight me over text and tried to get me to think that
Yeah, because I pushed you off, right? Like she wasn't like hitting.
this had never happened and that I was overreacting. Alice didn't apologise for getting physical, but instead doubled down on why she'd assaulted me. Alice hadn't told me she didn't like the way I was joking around before she assaulted me. We were in bed laughing, so I thought it was fine and just a normal interaction. Alice calls me mental and mocks me with laughing crying emojis for trying to discuss why she had assaulted me. I made it clear in the text that I did not push Alice or get physical when I was upset with her, and that I was tired of her doing this to me, to which Alice responded by agreeing and saying, yeah, after you've been a bellend.
What the fuck? Why name calling? I'm being genuinely serious, so don't dismiss this. She says, don't be a hypocrite. He says, hypocrite. She said, I didn't try to hit you. He said, I never push you away when you come near me. That's just you. I'm just saying. And she said, yeah, after you've been a bellend. So they're talking about the situation where he's being a dick to the cat, and she's like, stop, like, get away from me. Like, yeah, you're kind of shooing somebody away from you when they're being a fucking asshole to you. That's like not, like, we're embellishing a lot here, dude.
With her, and that I was tired of her doing this to me. To which Alice responded by agreeing and saying, yeah, after you've been a bellend. Alice ignores her assaulting me as the reason this argument has started, and has cut it out of her document to make it seem like I was being horrible, and that she had reacted to me, and not that she had hit me and insulted me, to which I responded by asking her to leave the house and leaving the room. This is why Alice at no point is specific about what I said that was actually horrible. She just references the joke I made about taking the cat away. This is because I wasn't being horrible, and Alice is misrepresenting the situation intentionally by hiding these texts that showed what really took place. Alice again acknowledges in texts that I was joking, and that I was not being serious at any point, and that she was aware of this the entire time this argument was taking place. This contradicts what Alice has said in her document. Serious at any point, and that she was aware of this the entire time this argument was taking place. This contradicts what Alice has said in her document, where she claims that I was being horrible, as Alice knew the whole time I was joking, as shown by these messages, minutes after the actual event had happened. I told Alice I didn't like her getting physical with me, as it would happen a lot, and I was often ignored when I tried to talk about it. When I would ask why, Alice would stonewall me, or would tell me that I was overreacting.
Stonewall.
I complained about things becoming physical.
Yeah, dude, whoever helped him write this document fucked him really hard. We're doing, pop psychology, and we're doing a lot of she's a lying whore, and that's not really hitting. That's not really hitting well for me.
Alice would not talk to me or tell me she was getting upset before she resorted to physically assaulting me. Alice tried to take the conversation away from it being about physical abuse, and said that I was asking her to leave because she didn't laugh. I asked Alice to leave because she had attacked me without warning instead of talking to me, and Alice knew this, as I made it clear in person and on the text conversation that we were having. But Alice was trying to change the reason I wanted to break up to make me look like I'd overreacted to her misunderstanding a joke, and not because I believed that she had assaulted me. Alice says, because I didn't laugh, because I pushed you off. Once again showing that Alice clearly knew that she had been physical with me, and then mocked me and belittled me for it, even though she had started by calling me delusional for even suggesting that she had been and that this had taken place. Alice still calls me delusional to this day for believing this even took place, and says I'm on Delulu Island in her document. I asked Alice to stay away from me, and she called me mental again. I told Alice that I would stay away from her because
Not the ableism, bro. His skin condition and calling him mental. And on top of everything, she called him fat. This is crazy.
she hadn't stopped assaulting me, as I felt this was my only option that I had left. I complained again that I needed Alice to leave. I felt I was being intentionally pushed to my limits, and I'd reached a point where I was afraid to interact with our cat or Alice out of fear of being assaulted, as it had been going on for months at this point. Alice calls me delusional again, and blamed me, saying that this was my decision when I had asked her to leave the house. But I wouldn't have asked Alice to leave if she hadn't have assaulted me. I had let the physical abuse towards me become normalized for reasons that I will go on to later in this video. But I had reached a point where I couldn't deal with it anymore, and felt there was no excuses to justify this situation, as it seemed Alice now believed that me wanting to leave because of this was an overreaction. Our relationship was incredibly toxic. toxic, and it affected us both severely, and I felt that we needed to be apart as things were getting worse. Alice says that I was horrible to her to justify the continued physical assaults on me, even though she had started this fight because I was joking, and had tried to hurt me to get me to stop. But to claim that this behaviour was exclusively one-sided is untrue, and does not justify resorting to physically assaulting me because of a joke. Alice then mentions I had said something to her the other day when her brother was over, and this story is actually in Alice's document. This wasn't the first time where Alice had treated me this way over the cat, but it's becoming a daily occurrence throughout our relationship. There are so many cases where I end up taking Bear into another room, saying that taking the cat off him is starting an argument when I only did it after he said weird things to him. Acts like a child had his toy taken away when realistically, I was uncomfortable with him being near my cat after saying what he does. Alice says that I acted like a child had his toys taken away, and that I complained that taking the cat off me is starting an argument. Alice then says I said weird things to him, and that's why she had taken him away. I was upset with Alice because, like in these texts where Alice justified assaulting me for talking to the cat and making jokes, Alice would use the cat as an excuse to assault me. I had broken down on a few occasions due to this, and I'd gone to Alice and spoken to her about this because, as she says in her document, she was constantly taking the cat away from me, and I felt that this was done to get a rise out of me, as she knew that it upset me. Alice knew that I cared for the cat.
Or it's because you keep threatening to fucking choke the cat and shit. That might be why. That might be why. That may be why. Like, worst case scenario here, she was also not an angel in the relationship. That's like worst case scenario thus far. Best case scenario, like this guy's just like a lying piece of shit, right? And I'm truthfully leaning more towards the latter, because like everything so far has just been the same couple of screenshots recycled, and it feels to me like we're embellishing a lot of the shit, and we're kind of existing in a lot of gray area because there's not context around a lot of the stuff that's being shared. And the stuff that has been documented, like the screaming, the following her around the apartment or the flat, whatever the fuck they call it, that shit I think is more than enough for me to be like, no, dude, like you're a piece of shit. Just me personally, I guess.
But constantly referred to me being affectionate with the cat and talking to him as weird when I'd asked why she'd taken him away or pushed me and left the room. Alice messaged
These
me
are pretzels.
She realised I cared for the cat after we'd broken up, but had still gone on to portray me being affectionate with the cat as a justifiable reason to physically assault me, which is why she kept things intentionally vague when describing me talking to the cat as weird, and has cropped these texts, as Alice knew I was doing nothing out of the ordinary when it came to me and the cat. Alice says in her document that I was acting like a child because of this. I had asked Alice many times to stop hurting me for being affectionate and talking with the cat, like I am doing in these text messages. I had broken down crying in front of Alice, which is why she says I'm acting like a child. Alice makes it seem like I was overreacting to something small, and not that I was deeply affected by being assaulted and mocked constantly for talking to the cat and various other issues in our relationship. This is why Alice has intentionally hidden these text messages that show why I was so upset, so she could misrepresent my complaints as childish and unreasonable, even though she admits to doing this on many occasions. It was affecting me severely trying to deal with the gaslighting and manipulation, as well as the physical abuse of sharing a house together. And to read that my breakdowns have been described as acting like a child who had his toy taken away shows that Alice was aware that it affected me, and is even now still insulting me and mocking me for pushing me to my breaking point. In the text messages, Alice continued to blame her hitting me on how I had reacted previously to the constant abuse I was under, to justify her continuing to hurt me physically for things like jokes or talking to the cat. If Alice didn't have a reason for why she'd hit me, she would say it was because I'd done something previously to deserve it, like in these messages. Alice says she pushed me away because it was my fault, and all I do is call her names. But that is not all what happened, or how this argument took place. I would get upset after I was pushed, slapped, or punched. I was horrible to Alice on many occasions, and I deeply regret this behaviour, and nothing will justify that. But the order in which these events have been portrayed as false, as Alice is once again ignoring that she had tried to hurt me when I was just talking with our cat. I was upset and frustrated that Alice hadn't apologised for getting physical with me, and I lashed out at Alice over text, which I regret. I told Alice that this isn't what I signed up for in a relationship, and it was hard for me to follow if Alice was upset when we had been totally fine, and then suddenly she had hit me. Alice then says that I had dragged her in an argument and that I had shouted at her. I ignored this in the text messages as it was untrue, and I've covered this in this video already. Alice says I said weird shit, so she pushed me off and then told me to grow up and to cry because I was upset that she had got physical with me. I pointed out that it was really strange to me that Alice knew that I was joking around with her, but was still treating me like it was okay to assault me, and that I should go and cry about her physically assaulting me. Alice then says that I was actually provoking her on purpose because I knew she didn't like it when I talked to the cat. We lived together and the cat was ours, and creating rules like saying I can't talk to him because she was annoyed at me is unfair and unreasonable. I went on to tell Alice I was tired of being hit for just being myself. I thought we were having fun, but now I didn't know if I would be punched or pushed for just joking around, and because of this I wanted to break up, as it was clear that our relationship was not working and we could not be together if issues this small would lead to physical violence. Alice then said she knew that I wasn't being serious, to which I told her that she shouldn't hit me. Alice then denied hitting me. I did not expect Alice then said she knew that I wasn't being serious, to which I told
Are you joking? It's really a behavior. Lamau, and I want you gone. She says, I know it's not serious. I said, stop saying that shit, though. He says, no, it genuinely freaks me out. She says, ages ago. Says, what you're doing, yeah, but you don't hit me. She said, weird escape route. He says, especially because you know it's a joke. And she said, I didn't hit you, idiot. And again, we're going off of the things that were documented previously. She was trying to get the cat away from him, and she was like, get away, like a push, right? I wouldn't say that's the same thing. Again, you know, don't put your hands on, you know, people and so on and so forth. But if I have like an animal in my arms and somebody's trying to get the animal away from me, I'm going to be, you know, kind of like, hey, like back up, or whatever the fuck, right? Like that doesn't, like you can still hit somebody on accident, but I think it's quite embellished to say that she was like karate chopping him in the fucking throat to get him away. I don't agree with or believe that narrative, at least in this sense.
Told her that she shouldn't hit me. Alice then denied hitting me. I did not expect Alice to admit it, as I become used to Alice completely downplaying and excusing being physically abusive in our relationship and mocking me while continuing to call me delusional. As shown in this video, Alice has lied and hidden physically abusing me on multiple different occasions, like she's doing here in these text messages. I then told Alice I had to stop the conversation as I was really struggling with being gaslit about what happened and then being insulted. This would cause me to get very upset, and I would struggle massively when Alice would tell me that I was making everything up. Alice then proceeds to insult me again, and then mentions that I had insulted her. I fully admit that I used horrible language, but as you could see, Alice would insult me too, but would only focus on my behaviour and would completely ignore her own. I said to Alice that I was tired.
And in the text messages that we, that are in the document itself, you can see very clearly that he's the one that's needling. So in order for me to believe this side, I need to see messages of her needling him back. Because the other side of these conversations are shown in the logs that she released, where he's needling and needling and needling and needling, and then finally she's like, you know what, actually, fuck you, you're right. And, you know, maybe that's not the right response, maybe it is, but I cannot in good faith say that if somebody didn't pick at me all day, every fucking day, that I wouldn't snap to. Because I certainly would. I think that's kind of like a normal human reaction. If somebody is just like on your ass all the fucking time about shit, and you kind of are just like, you know what, actually, fuck you, you're a bitch. You have fat hands. I mean, that's kind of like a natural reaction, in my opinion. Obviously, I would say, not appropriate, guys, but I would be lying if I said that that isn't something that I think everybody has that natural point where it's like, okay, I've fucking had enough of this. Like, I'm going to say something now. I think that's actually pretty understandable. Doesn't mean that it's okay, you know, don't be mean. Being mean is bad, blah, 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 whatever the fuck. But, like, I don't know. I just think that the embellishment with all of this is just really interesting, because I think part of the thing here is that because the allegations came out so long ago, I feel like we're relying on the fact that people either aren't recalling the previous allegations or they haven't even read them, right? Like they're scrolling on YouTube and they're like, oh shit, this guy made a response to abuse allegations. Let's look at this. And they either don't remember it or they haven't, you know, refreshed their memory. And to be fair, we didn't fully refresh our memory either, right? We kind of did a little run through to play catch up and what have you. But I think this relies very heavily on people not having read it.
LEIL i abub donatet $5 truc superchat. I can envisionim rubbing is grup pilit al paus tu jater vila makingdis.
Thank you very much for the $5, Lila. And yeah, I mean, and it's flaking all over. He's like, and it's like a little snow globe, like over his desk. Sorry, that was ableist.
Tired of her ruining normal interactions by getting annoyed with me. I felt that Alice was intentionally making excuses to justify hurting me, and that this had happened.
Anyway, sorry, I was going to finish that thought. I was going to say, I think that that's part of the strat here, right? You wait so long that people don't really have a clear recollection of what happens. Because if this shit happened like yesterday, everybody would be like, no, bro, we literally just read the document like fucking yesterday. So I know that you're full of shit because I just read it yesterday, right? Like it's very fresh in your mind. So I think that part of the strat is to wait, right? If you wait long enough, it kind of fades from people's memory. People aren't as emotionally reactive to it, and they also just don't have as clear of a recollection as when they first read it. So that's probably part of the reason that it took him so long to come out with this as well, right?
Since we very first began dating, as I mentioned in these texts. We continued to talk, and then I proceeded to ask Alice to leave again, because I felt that she was trying to antagonize me. Alice said she didn't respect me, and that was why she was treating me this way. Once I realized
Because you've been a C-word. Today's been fine. You're the worst I've ever dated, he said. You just did that for no reason. She says, guy. She says, okay. He says, okay, please leave. It's over. She said, you said weird shit that I don't find funny. He said, man, I'm actually not even going to try with this. And she said that already. I don't care. He said, you win. She said, you don't anyway. He says, yeah, I guess the cat thing is weird now.
Because I felt that she was trying.
And then she said, or he says, you win. She says, you don't anyway. He said, yeah, I guess the cat thing is weird now. She says, you can't and couldn't stop calling me shit. He said, IDK, you win. I'm just not going to speak to you anymore. And I mean that for my own sanity. And she said, I stopped respecting you after that. So she's saying that she stopped respecting him after he was like threatening the cat, which again, fair, probably.
Trying to antagonize me. Alice said she didn't respect me, and that was why she was treating me this way. Once I realized this wasn't going to be resolved, as the conversation had just become Alice insulting me further and trying to gaslight me, I told Alice I had to go back to work, as I'd been in an ongoing battle to retrieve the money my YouTube channel had owed from my YouTube network, as it had been taken away from me, and they had stopped paying me at the time. Alice knew that I'd been in a battle with my network for tens of thousands of pounds, as it had been withheld from me for months, and I had no income stream because of this, as they were continuing to take future payments from me. I was
tens of thousands of pounds. I fucking hate YouTubers, man. I fucking hate YouTubers, dude. This guy's got a channel with 1.87 million, and he's got to square out his finances. Is none of that going to savings? Like, not a penny of that, not a pound of that went into savings? How the fuck are you gonna pull, like, fucking 10,000 a month what is that? Like more than 100,000. Let's just say that we make let's say that we make $10,000 a month. That's what, $120,000 a year just for making fucking YouTube videos. Come on, dude. Like, fuck you. I don't have any empathy. It's the same thing with Boblax. Like, I don't have any empathy for these people that have like huge fucking YouTube channels that are making a metric fuck ton of money, and you are stupid with your money. If you're making that kind of money, there's like not a single fucking reason that a month of not making like 10 grand is gonna fuck you. You should be saving your money. What are you talking about? Does nobody know how to manage their money? Nobody? Not a single person? Nobody knows what a fucking savings account is? Ooh, this makes me mad. This makes me mad, dude. This makes me mad.
Still paying for every expense in our house and using my savings as I was the only person working at the time. Alice says I took my equipment away from her, but that was because I was using it to make videos and to try and continue working so I could afford to support us.
What is he doing with it? He's using it to treat his skin condition. He's rubbing the money flakes on his skin.
And the cat. Alice then says she pushed me because I was in her face. This is a complete lie, as I was laying down flat on my back in bed with the cat on my chest, and Alice moved towards me and pushed me. This shocked me, and I started to feel...
Okay, so now she pushed him, but earlier, remember, it was that she hit him. Now he agrees that she just pushed him, which also is not okay. And how do you... Like, again, like, pushing somebody out of a bed in, like, a get out is different than just, like, hiya! Like, these are different things. We're embellishing a lot. I'm kind of crashing out. And we're only we're not even halfway done with this fucking video, and I'm crashing the fuck out, dude.
Extremely worried about how Alice had began to twist the narrative that I somehow had gone from just telling a joke about the cat to now being in Alice's face. Not only did Alice then downplay how hard she hit me, she began to rewrite the story of me being at fault over text. I said to Alice I didn't think things were going to get better, and this showed me that our relationship would not improve, to which I again asked if we could end our relationship. Alice said that I had flaws, and she is correct. I tried to work through them when we were together, but I felt like the line had to be drawn somewhere before things got worse, which they did. I did not want the way we had treated each other to be an ongoing excuse to allow things to continue to get worse. If we couldn't find solutions, I believed it was right to break up, as the ongoing abuse was not something that should continue. Alice then continued to say that she doesn't respect me after I told her that I'd been working harder despite the financial issues I was having at the time. Alice then told me to come here and say it to her face when I said that I wanted her to leave. At this point, I was annoyed, and I told Alice to get out again and to leave the house, and she was actively trying to escalate the situation by trying to start an argument with me in person and being aggressive over text. Alice continued to antagonize me and then mocked me for not working a 9 to 5. This would happen when I complained about how stressed...
Yeah, dude. If you're crashing the fuck out right now because you, like, just pissed away, like, more than $10,000 a month because you pissed that away on bullshit, put the fucking fries in the bag. Yeah, not a lick of sympathy. Not a lick of sympathy, okay? There is no excuse if you're making that kind of money for you to ever be like, oh my god, like, I don't have, oh my god, what did I do with my hundreds of thousands of dollars? Oh. Literally, fuck you. I hate, oh god, sorry.
First I was that I hadn't been paid, and it was becoming a huge struggle trying to provide for 2 people and the cat. Alice then accuses me again of kicking her out because she didn't like my joke. At this point, I started to get increasingly more upset, as this had been going on for hours now. Whenever I brought up any issues, I would be gaslit and constantly misrepresented. This is something I really struggled to deal with. Alice tried to make me feel like my reasons for wanting to break up were stupid, and that I was over-emotional and overreacting. Alice then proceeded to mock me again when I started listing reasons for why I can no longer put up with the constant fighting in our relationship. I said to Alice I was totally fine before she had pushed me. I was not taking anything out on Alice, as Alice was the one who...
Okay. I have another 70k in tax to pay. Jesus Christ. Okay. And you're stressing me out over small shit, menial shit. It's like, oh, cute. So this is another one of those. He says, read the fucking room. She says, taking shit on me. He says, no, I was fine. What? You pushed me. What the fuck? What the fuck? She said, read the room. I saw you making weird jokes. He says, what the fuck? She says, okay. He says, fuck off. No. Cherry! I'm gonna be homeless! Cherry! Wow, time is a flat circle, isn't it? It's true what they say. Everybody goes through the same thing at different times. It really is true, isn't it, guys? You haven't even tried to see if I'm okay with everything. You've just been adding more shit onto my plate. Why do you think I'm sleeping? Why do you think I'm sleeping because of headaches? My entire fucking ICOM is being held hostage. God, I can't with you. Like, I read this is, like, you're making weird jokes, that's why I got mad about you being weird to the cat. Like, I don't...
Who had antagonized and laid hands on me. Alice would then take my reaction and claim that I'd started the fight or the argument.
Also, do you know how much money you have to make to pay $70,000 in taxes? What time do you guys get up in the morning? I get up at 5. And this little greasy, flaky butthole. This little flaky dude. This guy can get up whenever he wants.
she's done in her document and on these text messages, even though she assaulted me. Alice then proceeded to repeat again that I wanted her to leave on Breakup, not due to the physical abuse, but in fact because she didn't laugh at my jokes with the cat, which is completely misrepresenting my actual feelings again. Alice then says, bro dumped me, kicked me out, and then asked to talk, and calls me an idiot. Alice ignores that she had physically assaulted me and verbally berated me on text the entire time, and that I had tried to talk about it properly multiple times without fighting. At this point, I then snap at Alice and I insult her, and then the conversation continues to get worse. We then decided to talk in person about it, but Alice continued to antagonize me when I said we should talk normally and not be angry and shout at each other. Alice then tells me that I need to try my best. Alice then refused to talk in my office and instead made me go to her. When I went into our bedroom and asked what could be done to prevent this from happening again.
Refuse to talk in my office. Don't they live in like a flat? Isn't that just like across the hall? Like, she refused to come into my office, which was 2 steps away. What?
Alice told me that I would have to get used to her hitting me if I continued to speak to the cat. I told her that was insane and that continuing to hit me as an answer was stupid, and if that is really all she's going to continue saying, I no longer wanted to be in a relationship together. Alice then left the room. I instantly regretted calling Alice stupid as it was childish of me to resort to insults, but I was incredibly taken aback and upset at this even being a suggestion that I would have to get used to Alice hitting me if I didn't change the way I interact with the cat for her. I then politely asked Alice over.
It's her fucking cat, you crazy little fucker. Yeah, dude, if somebody has a cat and you're like, haha, I'm gonna fucking kill it. Haha, wouldn't it be so funny if I just killed the cat? Wouldn't it be so funny if I just drowned this little bitch? And you're like, dude, could you like not say freak shit to my cat, please? And it's like, she's trying to police me on how I interact with the cat. It's not even your cat. I'm crashing out.
Text to go somewhere else that night as it was clear that we couldn't communicate with each other without arguing. Alice then says that I said that
I agree, I need to hear the cat side as well. Oh, look, I think I'm completely in my right to say that I don't want to be with someone who is constantly going to harass me over cats. And then, so let's throw it down, flip it, and reverse it. Where in these text messages does he say that he was abused, battered, the shit kicked out of him? Remember earlier when he was like, well, apparently I choked her, but there was no proof of that in the text messages because we were having a quote-unquote normal conversation. Where in these text messages does it say that the reason that he wants to break up is because she's, like, beating the shit out of him, like... He is, like, the victim of Mike Tyson. He's cowering in a corner. Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali both are tag-teaming this bitch. He's Eiffel Towered in the corner between her and the cat. Where is that in these messages? Obviously, she's lying. Obviously, she's full of shit because it isn't documented in text messages that she said, why did you try to kill me earlier? And he said, I don't know, babe. What do you want from McDonald's? Because that wasn't documented in text messages. That is not documented in these text messages. This is literally her saying, like, I didn't want you to fuck with the cat. And he says, so you're really going to leave me over the cat. We're really going to break up over the cat. Interesting that it works the other way, right?
We can't interact with each other and that I was suggesting that we can't be together, which clearly upset her. I honestly and openly explained to Alice that if she believed that physical violence was the answer, that our relationship was beyond saving, unless she felt she could find other ways to deal with these issues, which she told me that she couldn't. Alice told me she wouldn't change her behavior. I felt
Show that screenshot. Show that screenshot show the screenshot that she literally cannot do anything other than beat the shit out of you. That's her only coping skill. This is my emotional support domestic violence. Show me that screenshot. Where's that screenshot? I thought we had evidence for everything, remember? If it's not documented, it didn't happen. Okay, show me the screenshot where she says, sorry babe, my only coping skill is hitting you. Where is that? Interesting.
Unless she felt she could find other ways to deal with these issues, which she told me that she couldn't. Alice told me she wouldn't change her behavior. I felt this was enough of a reason for me to ask Alice to leave, as I didn't want to constantly worry about being hit again. Alice proceeds to mock me and call me a mental case, and then says that she is just doing what I had told her to do. Alice continued to argue with me and called me butthurt in text messages. I was incredibly upset with how this had been handled. Alice again makes it seem like what I'm asking for was unreasonable, and says sorry for doubling down, for pushing you off with a question mark. As you can see, Alice showed 5 carefully picked screenshots of our text messages to convince people that this is an entirely different story than to the reality of what had happened at the time. This was not the only ongoing issue surrounding the cat, and Alice wrote in her document that she didn't want me near Bear because I would call him mine, and she capitalized this. Alice would shout at me and get physical with me.
I mean, he's been doing this the whole video too. It's our cat. It's actually her cat. It's her cat. It is. Like, it's her cat. Very odd.
When I said the cat was ours. I never said to anyone that the cat was mine. We were a couple who had brought him together and lived together. So I believe
what a cute little cat.
That it was our cat. Alice had paid the £50 deposit for Bear and asked me to pay the remaining £200 so that we could get him. I believe this meant that he was our cat as we had both paid for him and we were moving in with each other. I then posted him on my Instagram story after we had gone to get him together. Alice got upset at me and told me that she hated that people were saying congratulations to me and calling him mine in my comments, so I removed the posts. Even after me and Alice moved in with each other, I was not allowed to do anything with the cat as Alice had made it clear, like she has in this document, that he did not belong.
Yeah, I mean, if you're threatening to choke the cat, I wouldn't want you to hang out with the cat either, personally.
to me, and this led to her pushing and slapping me for interacting with him or treating him like he belonged to us both when we were living together. Alice has tried to hide that she had been physically and verbally abusing me, would gaslight me, and that she would even attack me to paint her abuse as purely reactionary, which is not the case. Alice never shows I was reacting to constant abuse at any point to make it seem like I would react terribly for no reason. I struggled massively with the constant mental and physical abuse that I faced throughout our relationship, and it had affected me severely to be in this situation constantly, as our arguments would devolve into name calling.
Does this not go the other way though? Because if the videos that we saw are true, we could say the exact same thing for her. That this was all reactive abuse, because that's what he's saying. Is like, I lashed out in our relationship. I called her names, you know, I sunk to her level, blah, 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 because it was all reactive. Can we not say the same thing in the opposite direction? Because in the videos that are provided, yeah, I would say that you could make the exact same argument in the opposite direction, right? She was pushed to her limit. She was tired of being gaslit. She was tired of being yelled at. She was tired of being in fear. She was tired of everything always being a level 10 fucking meltdown over this, that, and the other thing, right? Like, we can make the exact same argument in the opposite direction, but somehow, for some reason, it's only valid for him, right? It's impossible that she too was in mental anguish and just tired of everything, right? Unheard of.
LEIL i Abuc Donatet $2 truc superchat. Pic. Laxity. Lurch. Or Alex? Bobaches your pet.
Thank you for the $2, Layla Bug. I gotta say Alex out of all of those, because I think that Lexity and Lorch would fuck the cat. And so that's kind of where I would be like, probably not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously anal abuse is bad, but I think that like the fucking of the cat would be the thing that I would be concerned about there. Good question though. Good question. I like that. What else are you guys thinking? What do you guys think? Lorch, Lexi, or Alex? Who's watching your cat, guys? Death is not an option, as per usual. You have to choose.
Calling and pulling each other down. I'm ashamed when I read these texts back of how I behave when we would argue. The result to insults is unacceptable, and it was never okay for me to make personal jabs at Alice. Alice had found out that I had told my friends about the physical abuse because I had leaked my messages to her, and because of this, Alice claimed I was making up a contradictory story to hers to release publicly on my own accord. She does not mention that I was responding to lies that I'm a convicted abuser that she had posted on her TikTok publicly, and that she had been going through and following my friends months after we had broken up, trying to get their attention to spread this lie, which ended up with my friends asking me to explain this to them after seeing the TikToks that Alice was posting online. I was reacting to Alice's public posts and lies about me, but Alice has hidden that she was constantly harassing me to make it seem like I'd gone out of my way to talk badly about her for no reason, when in reality Alice was trying to isolate me and antagonizing me into responding to her for months. When Alice had received the messages from my friends, she accused me of lying. Alice said if I told people she hit me in our relationship that she would sue me, even though I was sharing privately that her posts alleging I was a convicted criminal were untrue. Alice then proceeded to admit to hitting me during our relationship in the same conversation where she threatened to sue me for telling people that she had been hitting me. Alice then excused this behavior by telling me it's okay for women to hit men if they are being an asshole. Alice for telling people that she had been hitting me. Alice then excused
Yes, I slapped her in the face one time. Name a girl who hasn't slapped a huge asshole. This does not translate into it is acceptable for women to hit men. That is literally not even what that says. Do you think that women can't be huge assholes? Wow. Sexism, add that to the Google document. Yeah, I slapped you in the face one time. Name a girl who hasn't slapped a huge asshole. That could be a woman as well, right? Okay, obviously slapping people, not acceptable, guys. Don't do it. Don't put your hands on other people. Ad infinitum, you know, always accept that caveat from me. But, like, again, reactive abuse is different than, like, actual malicious abuse. And not even to say actual, because you can be reactively abusive and it still constitutes abuse, right? But, I will say, somebody's in your face, somebody's screaming at you, somebody's posturing you, somebody's threatening you. You might feel in that moment that you need to act defensively, which makes sense. It doesn't mean that it's okay, clearly. But that is certainly the way that that situation reads to anybody who has eyes, ears, and, you know, access to all five senses. But, yeah, okay, true. She hates all men. Cool, good point. What's next?
Used this behavior by telling me it's okay for women to hit men if they are being an asshole. Alice mocked me for complaining about the physical abuse, as she believed it was justified, and then told me that if I wanted it to stop, I should make a public apology towards her. Alice told me if she wanted to expose me publicly that she would have posted a document about me. I later found out when my ex-girlfriend Jess messaged me that Alice had told Jess that she had been building a folder on me since January. Alice had stayed in contact with me for months where she antagonized me, threatened me, and continued to mentally
I wasn't leaving you alone. I would have made a huge fucking PDF file and had it posted already. Again, you guys, come on. Like, come on. Are we going to address any of this? Or are we just going to keep going, she's a liar, she's a liar, she's a liar, she's a liar? Are we going to address any of this, do we think?
abused me so that she could knowingly put my reactions into her document that she had started building in January. Alice said that it wasn't like she had named me in these posts or made a video about me, but she had responded and deleted comments on videos she posted saying it was about me and that I was on Claire's Law, which again is a lie. My friends saw the TikToks Alice had been posting online and she had gone through and followed them all after our breakup. Me and my friends had a call where I answered questions about my relationship and I told my side of the story where I explained that Alice had been physically abusing me throughout our relationship. I made it clear that I did not believe that this was an excuse for my behavior and that our relationship was toxic.
Yeah, it's not good. You can call me. We had a lot of arguments that went like that after she hit me, etc. But it's not acceptable to get like that, so I get it. I don't want to drag you guys into it. There's no fix here. It just really fucked up. The whole thing is just like killing me. I know she won't include any of the stuff that she did to me, and there isn't an excuse for retaliating like that. So again, for like the bajillionth fucking time, she did include in there that she did retaliate, and again, for the billionth fucking time, why is it feasible that he was baited into, like, domestically abusing her? Basically, he was tricked into it. He was bamboozled. He was pushed to the brink. You know, he was at the edge of his seat, like just getting the shit kicked out of him day in and day out. Why is that an acceptable metric for how he acted in the relationship, but it's not acceptable on the other foot? Why is it not acceptable that she could have been acting out of retaliation as well? It doesn't make any sense.
And it was not good for either of us, and I was ashamed of how I had behaved. A friend of mine at the time, a YouTuber who goes by the name of IMALLEXX, had messaged me in our group chat encouraging me to share.
Oh, INABber, you're fucked, dude. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Did INABber make a video on fucking IMALLEXX? Did he do that? Did he make a video? Oh my god. Name dropping people is diabolical, bro, like that. Oh, it looks like INABber never made a video about IMALLEXX. Which, interesting choice. Interesting. How long ago was this? 9 months ago? Let's go back. To be fair, he doesn't post habitually, so... Or 11 months ago, excuse me. Illuminati, Ren, Eleanor, Jojo Siwa, Alphaba, Illuminati, Cody Co, Jojo Siwa, Nikocado Avocado, Smart Schoolboy 9, Gabby Hanna, Jojo Siwa, Schoolboy 9, Onision, TikTok Mom, James Charles, Jeffree Star, Illuminati, Nikocado, Jojo Siwa. Yeah, okay, so he never made a video about IMALLEXX, okay. Curious, but that's fine, okay.
There are more stories and all the evidence I had of Alice's abuse.
He did make a video about him? Is it on a different channel?
He told me I could trust him, and that because we were friends, that they weren't going to share any of it.
I want to read this comment. I know what will stop this train. The body of my friend. Very true. Everybody witness Mr. Mollusk.
Anywhere, and it would remain private after I made it clear that I was worried that it would be leaked. Alice messaged me with direct screenshots from the private conversation that I had had with INABber and my friends. Alice had been sent screenshots from our private conversation, and it was clear that if I talked to anyone, she would know that she was following as many of my friends as possible. Alice said I shouldn't be lying about her hitting me, and that she would sue me, but as I've already covered in these texts earlier in this video, she then went on to admit to hitting me in these messages and in her document. Alice made it clear to me that I couldn't talk to anyone about what I had experienced, and she was now contacting all my friends and isolating me completely, which is exactly what I feared she would do, as she had made it clear that there was nobody I could talk to who she couldn't reach, and she was sending me my own conversations so that I would know that I couldn't get away from her or talk about what happened with anyone, including my friends, as they were going to leak my messages to her. When Alice's document was posted, INABber posted various stories and a document about me that contains many statements that are false. INABber had messaged YouTube commentary channels after our conversation where I...
Oh, so now we're throwing INABber under the bus as well. Everybody who's against me is a liar, a whore, a backstabber, or a traitor. This is certainly an interesting way to go about debunking allegations. And again, we're, you know, decently far into this video, you guys. We still have not talked at all about the recordings. Interesting, lemon, interesting. Wow.
Privately entrusted him with my abuse story, even though he told me that what I shared with him would remain private. According to the YouTuber Samuel, I never told him that I had refused to answer any of his questions despite us having an hour call and there being various messages and a conversation disproving this, as it was leaked directly to Alice.
Hey, I just thought I'd come in to say that I've spoke to Alice, the ex of Alex, and I've also spoke to INABber. According to INABber as well, Alex has sort of ignored people, like ignored everybody, sort of gone into like a recluse, not messaging anyone back.
I mean, I believe this, certainly. He just kind of fell off the face of the earth. And again, earlier he was going really hard. It wasn't documented, therefore it must be false. Okay, it was a voice call. You guys could have been talking about anything. I don't know. I have all the screenshots, I have all the evidence, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. This evidence isn't good enough because it's coming from this whore that's lying. Okay.
Not even messaging INABber back about their podcast that recently failed. Nothing like that.
I was incredibly confused as I did not understand why these people had been told lies about what happened when Fraser had told me that I could...
Bro, if he brings up Denki Jabbo, it's so over, dude. Oh my god. Lewis McClung is gonna come.
trust him with talking to him about the abuse I had gone through and that it would remain between us because we were friends. I never posted on his Instagram story that I had refused to talk about this and has shared messages of him discussing my relationship with other people. He says, but the man never wanted to discuss it with us ever. I had spoken to Fraser on a few occasions about how I was struggling with Alice and how it was upsetting me, which directly contradicts
Yeah, like vague posting about like, yeah, I'm having a hard time. Okay.
what Fraser has posted publicly on his Instagram stories. Fraser wrote, we thought they were still together or seeing each other, lol, and that he suspected that we kept breaking up. After I finally felt like I could talk about this when I believed Alice had left me alone, I opened up to him that the last 4 months had been very hard for me. Fraser
That doesn't mean anything. That, like, if somebody messaged me and was like, the last couple of months have been kind of hard, I'd be like, oh, that sucks, I'm sorry. I wouldn't be like, oh my god, you're getting the fucking shit beat out of you. I didn't know that you were dating John Cena. Like, why is he allowed to do all this intuition pumping into his statements, but anything that fucking Alice says, it's like, well, the phase of the moon on the day that she posted this was actually a waning crescent. And that means that the lemon juice moon water that she put outside is speaking deceit into the orb, and therefore this claim is totally false. Like, what the fuck is this? What are you talking about? This is like ultra vague posting. I wouldn't intuit anything about that. I've known plenty of people that have been in relationships where they get back together, they break up, they get back together, they break up, they get back together and break up. You just kind of get used to the fucking cycle and you don't think twice about it. You're just like, oh, they broke up again, whatever the fuck. Like, just them saying it's been kind of difficult lately. It's like, well, yeah, you guys are playing like the fucking carousel from hell with your relationship. Obviously, I'm sure that that sucks, but like, you are doing a lot of intuition pumping to say that I've had a hard couple of months equals I've been getting the shit beat out of me. Like, and that he should know that as well. That's kind of fucked up, no?
never shows him asking me about Alice or any of my messages to him, as it would show that he was lying, as I was the one who had tried to arrange a call with him privately after I had been confiding in him.
And then he just keeps showing the same screenshots.
The dude never discussed personal stuff with us, lol, solely just YouTube and games. But Alice had full access to my phone when we were together and was threatening me after our breakup if I mentioned anything to anyone, like she has done after these messages I had with
But that doesn't mean that it's INABR specifically. Like, this is starting to get really boring. This is starting to get really boring to me. Did he think that people are going to watch this? I'm sure that there are people that are watching this that are like yes queening him and shit like that. But like, this relies heavily on somebody having like 4 functioning brain cells, not knowing what was in the original document, and then just kind of like half asleep listening to this. Like, that's what this relies on. If somebody is like yes queening this shit, it's because they're not paying attention to it. Because this is fucking crazy. It's very like, oh, because this happened to me, it's really fucked up. Even though the exact opposite might have happened, and if that's the case, then it's just bullshit and a lie. This is so fucking. I'm starting to get pissed.
Fraser were leaked. And I did open up fully and honestly about what had been going on for that year when I asked him to call, and in the messages that he has cropped out. I had asked him to call multiple times, and I had told him that I was free to speak to him whenever. I tried to arrange multiple calls to talk about the situation, as you can see in these messages on Facebook. I was willing to answer questions even after my messages had been leaked. In the live stream, Samuel says that I was a recluse, but I went home because Fraser had told me that I should go see my parents and that I should take time off from the internet. To say I didn't attempt to talk to him about this is a barefaced lie. I understand him not wanting to be—
Dude, just being like, yo, can we talk sometime? That, again, we're doing so much fucking intuition pumping, dude. This is so fucking cringe and gay. This is so fucking stupid. This is such a waste of fucking time. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hey, can we call sometime? I'd like to talk. Sure. Oh, well, he never, to pretend that I never wanted to talk about this situation specifically. Hey, Sai, do you want to get a Discord call when you have time? I just kind of want to chat about things. And then, when I tried to tell Sai that I knew who was on the Epsing flight logs, Sai just didn't answer me. It was so fucked up. And Sai knew that I had access to all of the flight logs, but Sai chose not to accept my call. It must be because Sai thinks that child abuse is fine. It's like, what the fuck are you smoking right now, and where can I get it? What are you smoking, and where can I get it? Where are they selling you this shit? Where are you buying this powerful of a mind-altering substance? Because I would like some of it, please. I will have what he's having.
Involved. I am not his responsibility, and he should not have to answer for my own personal problems just because we were once friends. However, what has been posted publicly is not true, and therefore I believe it's only right that I correct this.
Take shots at literally every single person as you're falling into the abyss is a really good look. It doesn't imply guilt at all. Just literally falling down the mine shaft, and you're grabbing any single fucking person that's near you to drag them to hell with you. Really good look, bro.
Fraser has intentionally cropped our messages that he posted on his Instagram story to portray a version of events which is not true. Since the conversation me and Fraser had, where I made it very clear in the messages that I had been at fault, Fraser has lied that I tried to claim that I was a victim. In reality, I explained that it was complicated and that I had been at fault.
LEIL i Abuk donatet $2 truc superchat. Malcolm. Inabe pose is doc on his channel.
Thank you, Lilybug, for the $2. There's a doc here.
Smart Schoolboy 9 is
post. I completely understand people are concerned and angry about what was said in Alex's video. I have created a full document to debunk and explain things on my side of the story to prove. Please read this document. It provides full context. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to read this, and if this shows that this guy is full of shit, we're going to 2x speed the rest of this, and we're going to watch, and we're just going to power through the rest of this. Because if iNever's video debunks all this shit, then I don't give a flying fuck what this guy has to say. I don't. Where the fuck? Give me this link. Give it to me, Rachel. Okay. How long is this? Oh my god, there's like 5,000. Oh, okay, it's only 29 pages. Never mind. I'm overreacting. That was really dramatic of me. Sorry, guys. Okay. So, I've seen Alex's videos, and obviously I need to clear up things as there seems to be very confusing lies and misinformation spread on my end. I posted a long Instagram thread about this, but I'll post it in a timeline this here. Friendship aspect with Alex. Clearing things up after seeing his video. With the friendship thing, I do regret my friendship with Alex as it was extremely toxic. We barely saw each other in 2022 after we made a new set of friends that year. I think everyone remembers how close he and I used to be with him, how close I used to be with him in 2019. When we hung out every day. We still spoke, but majority of the meetings were walking the dog now and again. 2023 is when our friendship became very close again after he moved out of London and he fell out with his previous friends. We made a podcast together in 2024 because of that. And realistically, I don't think this is the biggest point to clarify on, but yeah, I regret my friendship still. Now on to the messaging commentary channels and things from the private side. This is flat out completely out of context, and it comes from the one time where I urged the channel caution and care. So I'm assuming this is iNever. Hiya, yeah, I know about the situation. Appreciate you reaching out. Would still appreciate not spreading this in DMs. Yeah, I've seen it, and I don't really know what's going to come from it. I haven't spoken to Alex properly in like 2 months. Scraps ended based on all other private, unrelated reasons. Alex is still making content as far as I can see, but yeah, the whole thing is pretty fucked up. I've got no clue what either are planning to do from here. I've been told that the whole thing has been an ongoing situation for ages and was kept in the dark until I started to see Alice's posts. Kind of like how you found out by putting 2 and 2 together. Sadly, I had to do the same thing, even as a friend, haha. And so this is June. Okay, so this is... Okay, so he's saying here to somebody else, like, I had no fucking idea what was going on. And the screenshots that Alex just showed on screen corroborate that, where he's vague posting. He's like, oh my god, like, I've been having a hard month, or can we have a call sometime soon, okay? I would not read into that at all, ever. I just wouldn't. If somebody was like, oh, I'm having a hard time, with life right now, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, they're being abused. I wouldn't do that. I would be like, oh, like, maybe work sucks, maybe, it's the weather. I don't know. I wouldn't jump to, oh my god, they're being like fucking, and they're getting their shit rocked like day in and day out, so... Okay. As you can see, it was a very confusing time, but I was clearly trying to diffuse the situation at the point, and I had no idea on the true story bar leaked screenshots I had seen, but from this point, it was progressively getting worse and worse. Seeing leaked messages from Alex calling Alice horrible things, and then just more coming out, I contacted Alex multiple times. So call ended an hour. iNever says, we'll call you back in a bit. Dad's calling me. Alex says, that's okay. My dealings with Alex went back to the moment, and I found out everything was going on. We wanted to make sure that everything was handled properly and called Alex multiple times. But in every instance, Alex did not share anything with us, but I did not leak things, that commentary channel that you can see here. So he says, yeah, no problem, man. It's rough for sure, but based on what I've been told / seen, it's incredibly disturbing situation that I've been lied to about profusely. I doubt that you have seen it as it was deleted quickly. But the thing was that really made me realize how bad it was Alice posted around 15 screenshots of her text with Alex, and they were pretty horrible to read. She shortly deleted them after 5 minutes, but it made me realize how serious this is, and honestly, after all the Slazo stuff, you can imagine that I'm a bit cautious on how to even handle a situation like this. I don't think it's my place to say anything publicly, so right now, I'm more just in the same position as you, and waiting to hear more and see if anything is actually said. But also, I should just say, from my experiences with Alice, she's a very nice person. While they are limited experiences, she does genuinely seem like a good person. I was urging caution, stating my story and how pretty much I didn't want to say anything publicly, that I was in the same position as him and that we were both very much in the dark. In every instance, I tried seeing a rebuttals or responses to screenshots. I got told there were screenshots, but I was never presented with any. So I never says, I just think you need to show us those texts you mentioned the other day, mate. Like, those messages are really bad and it would help just seeing the context. Alex says, I'm genuinely terrified that if I post something, she's going to come back at me even worse. I think that if she finds out that I'm talking about it or sharing stuff, she will try to make my life hell. It was like this when we were together. She'll try to provoke me to get upset or angry at her, and then it would come down even harder. I spoke with a few other people, and they told me the best thing to do is to just not respond anyway. And he says, I mean, privately to us, mate, not publicly. He says, I've been told not to post anything anywhere where it can be shared. By whom? Who told you that? I don't want to take any chances with this. I've been advised to just monitor what she's posting, even if it's just one-sided stuff, and not respond to anything. I never says, I get that, but we're not going to share it anywhere. You have to see how this seems from our perspective, that we have seen legit stuff from her side. It's just shit. And he says, yeah, I'm sorry. I completely get that it's tearing me up inside. It's been making me so sick, but that's what I was told in case it goes further. So obviously he's consulting somebody that is not his friends telling him what to do. And I think that this is like a fair response from Einaber being like, dude, I don't want to come out and say like a bunch of shit publicly because like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. The stuff that I've seen looks like pretty fucking crazy. You're telling me that it actually isn't that bad, that it's both sided, you know, that there are things that you can show me that will make it not look as bad as it seems to me right now. If you have that, can I see it, please? Because I need to see it because I'm your friend and I want to be able to judge the situation fairly. But if you're just doing this shit off the cuff, that's a fucking problem. And I can't support that. And he says, no, I've been talking to somebody. I can't do that. Curious. I was practically begging Alex to send me screenshots for months and months, and I think up until June, the situation was fully public with TikToks that had over 700,000 views. He sent me pretty much nothing. So, Frazier, meanwhile, your ex was posting more and more actual screenshots. Frazier says, I haven't seen screenshots of any messages. The only thing scouring through my messages is this screenshot from June when he shows me 2 screenshots, which Alice states that he abused her, and she reacted by slapping him once. This person says, to small YouTubers, this person says, there are TikToks with 700,000 views. I think this is Alex. I would have told you guys everything if you didn't leak it to my physically abusive ex-girlfriend on day 1. It says, mate. And then here's the screenshots, and it says, yeah, I slapped you in the face. Alex claimed so many turns to use, Alex claims so many turns to us. He had screenshots proving everything, but he never sent it. Shortly after the situation got even bigger with videos coming out and Alex even responding to some of the things Alex mentions in the messages here. Basically, I had so many things against Alex sent to me and practically nothing to defend him. Yet, I still remained quiet until all the videos came out, which I had no idea of a twit longer, too, which has hundreds of screenshots versus Alex, who kept claiming that he had stuff, but nothing showed me who had stuff, but nothing showed me anything. So this is kind of poorly written, but that's okay. I understand. Essentially, I was in the dark on this and putting pieces together. But with the YouTuber I, quote, leaked things to, told him to be cautious with it, even suggested reaching out to Alice and Alex for both of their sides of the story, as I wanted this treated carefully. He says, yeah, I completely agree. Situation needs to be handled with caution and patience, and I understand people will get frustrated. It's a lack of info, but hopefully the truth fully comes out soon. I'm not sure if Alex will say anything about it. Have you reached out to either of them? As you can see, I don't think this is leaking anything. It's more trying best to handle an explosive, horrible situation. And after all the stuff with his channel, Alex then messaged me explosively angry and maybe honestly thought that I leaked things to that channel. And look, I spoke to that channel about my own personal things later, but realistically, in the context of what Alex was discussing, it was me trying to diffuse things and handle all this maturely, as I didn't want this to become a massive mess. But I did contact Alex throughout all of this when something came out. There were times where I did not respond when I was busy or on holiday, etc. The first things that came out, I believe I was in Madeira, I think is how you say that. Alex says, so I'm not wrong, am I? Never says, I contacted you immediately after she posted the DMs of you being verbally abusive, and you said it was bad, and then when I asked you for proof, you never sent me anything. You said you couldn't. But as you can see, I definitely tried. But throughout March and June, Alex did call us multiple times as we tried to work on what was going on. It was just, I have proof, but we couldn't see anything during any of it. And to an extent, I get, but realistically, when you have so much against you, you can't give anything back. It's hard to deal with that. But I stayed silent until the very moment that things came out, as you can see in many more of me trying to get screenshots. So I never says, I just think that you need to show us these texts you mentioned the other day, mate. Like, those messages are really bad. It would help to see the context. So we saw this earlier. And then Alex says, I've been told not to post anything anywhere that it can be shared. I don't want to take any chances. And then he says, I'm not going to share it anywhere. So got that. And then eventually everything went public and more came out. The extent of what was in Alex's document, I genuinely had no idea of. The videos I had zero clue of, and just how bad it seemed was truly sickening, even before I made a statement and reached out to Alex. Those DMs above were in group chats where multiple people were trying to work out what was going on. It wasn't exactly the most private situation behind the scenes, as basically the entire UK community seemingly were picking up on stuff, and it was becoming a complete mess. So I never says, mate, have you seen this? And the thing's posted. Alex says, yeah, I'm working on my response. I never says, mate, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking for a response from you. What the fuck is this? And he said, I'm around to call and talk about it. Then he says, when is your response coming? And then no answer. So this was June 16th. So what time is this? 2 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon, 6 in the afternoon. So as you can see, I was angry. I felt lied to, especially after seeing 70 plus pages contradicting everything this man said to me for 2 to 3 months. It was a response coming. I was told there was a response coming. It never did, and I did block him after this. Thinking about this for 3 months, you've seen screenshots, TikToks, and everything about this, and you've tried your best to resolve it privately and work out what's going on, and then it comes out, it's even worse than you originally thought. I genuinely was in disbelief and admitted that I was angry in my response with the situation, given how I was lied to, and I felt justified in that. Even in some of our last messages, Alex even said that he felt like he couldn't talk to me. Sorry, mate. Genuinely feel like I couldn't talk to you. I was going to after I came back from my parents, but Alice messaged me saying that one of you said that she hit me, and it shit me up big time. Is that understandable? I felt that if I told you guys everything, she'd fucking kill me. I'm genuinely terrified for my life. And then even after this, he says he's sorry for not telling us these things. He says, I totally get it. Don't worry, man. I understand. I don't blame you for this. It's fucking awful. Look, if you have 10 minutes, I'd love to call, and then a proper call tomorrow so I get you fully up to speed. And then he says, I genuinely don't have 10 minutes to call blank. But I probably can't. I can probably call tomorrow, but yeah. Alex says, I'm sorry, but I didn't send you guys the messages her about hitting me. I was scared she'd post more. And then I never says, the whole thing has fucked with me, and obviously I've never wanted to see you as an abuser, but honestly, with what you gave me and what she has said, it has made me think that. So it goes on to say, basically, it was all words, but even then, barely any, and me trying my best to resolve the situation privately. He even says here that he didn't send messages and even say I don't want to see him as an abuser. It is truly horrible a thing to deal with, and I don't think there's any, quote, good way to deal with a situation like this. Now with the lawsuit stuff that comes after Alex explosively messaged me and mentioned damages in the context to everything. So Alex says, if we can keep this between us, I'd be very grateful. He says, yeah. Alex says, because I have to use everything as evidence for damages if this goes to court, so I don't want to risk everything. And then I never says, yeah, don't even mention it. And then Alex says, yeah, I have no idea who might get us all. It might get us all in more shit. Naturally, getting messages after a very sensitive and heated argument came off as posturing to me and threatening as well. And yeah, it mentions evidence for damages. And so Einapper says, yeah, same LMFAO. I feel like these texts are going to be used in blank court of law. I even said that I feel like these texts are going to be used in court, and then a lawyer was also mentioned multiple times. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 instances of a lawyer. So I'm around today unless a lawyer calls. I realized after talking to a lawyer and others, it was way worse than just arguments. I said I need a lawyer. My lawyer. Okay. I feel, in context to everything, anyone would feel threatened here. If I'm being honest, I did feel like I was being silenced in a way. Now, Alex will probably argue against that, that this is just my personal feelings, but given what he and I have said here, it makes sense. Another thing to note is that I said in my stories that Alex never spoke about his relationship with us, which is true. Alex very rarely ever discussed Alice, and I was constantly under the impression that he was happy until around January when they started making subtweets and posts about each other. He shows me discussing messages in April and March about the relationship, which confuses me, as I've not been private about messaging Alex during that time. My point about his relationship was the majority of it was before the situation in the story and the abuse stories. I thought that they were happy until around January, when Alex seemed a lot angrier and sad than usual, but would never tell us anything. So me and his other close friends were trying to find out if they had broken up, so we could help a guy whose mentally did not seem in a good place at all. If anything, he seemed to me at a low point. In late 2023, they moved in together, and they spent all their time together before that. They got a cat together, went to Italy together, and in general, I firmly believed he was happy with her, but mainly that comes from viewing stories and videos. I had barely zero discussion outside of a few fleeting things here and there, and the occasional playing games with Alex and Alice. With the disliked content creator stuff, I'm not really sure what to say about that. I think that Alex has been one of the most disliked content creators since 2019 and has faced a career of controversy since then. And my friendship with him resulted in me getting more comments about being friends with a snake. It was something that I brushed off as I seriously value loyalty in friendships and stuck by Alex until 2024. If I was trying to benefit him, if I was trying to benefit off of him financially, I would have just cut him off a long time ago. We had a very toxic relationship, or a very toxic friendship, excuse me. We were extremely close from 2019 to 21. 2022, we made new friendships, and I don't class us as really friends anymore. We walk dogs together occasionally, but honestly, at that point, I really felt like our friendship was over as we rarely saw each other in person anymore. And I think that we both became very distant. I used to hang out with him so much, but as an example of our distance, he moved to a new place with his new friends, and I did not visit there once. We just weren't friends for a bit. Then in 2023, we became very close again, gaming every day, and hanging out on Discord, and so much more. This is around the time he supposedly fell out with his new friends. Maybe Alex felt like we were good friends through the whole thing, and that's fair. But to me, when he got a new circle of friends, I felt very distant. But again, as I said, we did become close again in 2023, hence trying to discuss the situation with him for months. Honestly, I think that does cover all bases here. Realistically, I've just tried to handle this situation the best that I can from the beginning. I stayed silent publicly until all this blew up, and I hadn't heard anything since 2024. To me, I've done everything that I can to handle the situation properly, but I don't think there's ever a perfect way to handle a situation like this. When it came out originally with Alice's side, I saw things still saying that I'm friends with Alex. Now is the opposite of that. I hope the screenshots give context and understanding, and I really hope that you can see that I've come from all of this. Edit, I reached out to the channel about the situation with me leaking things to him and got confirmation I did not do this. So this person says, man, that's completely fine. You don't have to explain yourself at all. I get why you did, and I wasn't going to message you and ask if I could use those DMs you posted to further explain the situation. And then, I didn't get it though. I never leaked anything to you. Can you confirm I basically just said caution and calmness? And this person says, yes, 100%. You never leaked anything personal to me about Alex. The only thing ever mentioned was your podcast with Alex, which wasn't about Alice or anything that he said to you. That's, can I use this as a screenshot? Yes. One last thing. In the situation, I tried to listen and hear both sides. I know how sensitive situations like these things are. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. TikToks were coming out of leaked screenshots, conversations, and I felt the best way to handle this was to try to resolve things maturely and carefully. I probably didn't handle it perfectly, and I'm sorry for that, but it was truly an impossible, awful situation to be in the dark on for the most part. Also, I should clarify that I personally did not leak anything. I've gone through and looked through my DMs just to find stuff, and even if I did, and forgot bizarrely, but the majority of my conversations at the time were just groups of people trying to work out what was going on and who was lying and how it can be solved. I believe the majority of the people who knew about this stuff genuinely did care about what was going on and was trying to maturely deal with it. There were so many lies thrown around, things not being shown, and it's driving all of us crazy. It's super difficult to navigate, and I hope that this clarifies everything. And then... oh boy, what are these? What are these? Something seriously wrong with him. Bear acting like he works a 9 to 5. Oh, these are Alex and Alice, are they? Okay, so Alex says something seriously wrong with him. Bear acting like he works a 9 to 5. Alice says actually he sleeps at least 15 hours a day. Alex says hope that you're okay, Alice. Genuinely some of the most fucking horrific shit ever to read. Oh no, this is INABR messaging her. Okay, sorry. INABR is messaging Alice. So something, okay, talking about the cat, and then he says, hope that you're okay, Alice. I genuinely, some of the most fucking horrific shit I've ever read. I'm so sorry that you had to put up with this for so long. And then she says, thank you. This is a one-on-one conversation for the time. Obviously, I tried to hear both sides of the story. I've added multiple calls about all of this and tried to work out what was going on. But honestly, my only part in this was just trying to work out who was the victim in the situation. I truly do believe in victims, and I tried to listen to them. So I just tried to implement that logic in the situation and find out who was lying and who was not lying. On my channel, I talk about serious stuff. Oh my God, how, dude. Okay. Also, as you can see here in late January, I fully thought that they were still together, hence mentioning their memes. Why would I do this if I thought that they were not together? So he says, are you going up to Alice after 16 hours of Warzone with Jake Baz? And then he says, Kai and his family. Man, I just had the worst news. And then during this time, I was trying to work out if they were together. I still lived. Okay. Oh no, they've unfollowed each other again. I just checked. I'm here to speak on behalf of no one else's. I feel like this explains the same things, blah, blah, blah. Okay, thanks for listening. Okay, so I think that tests have determined that Alex is a fucking lying piece of shit. I think that this confirms that Alex is just a fucking lying piece of shit, because he's saying that INABR was like doing gay ops on him and shit and like fishing for information and leaking it to other people, but INABR never leaked anything and he proved that. So, okay, whatever. Wow, this is fucking stupid. Okay, we're speeding this up. I don't want to listen to this fucking flaky bitch talk for much longer, unfortunately.
And that our relationship was very different from what Alice had posted publicly that they had seen. In a document I never posted responding to allegations that were made against him by his ex-girlfriend Kirsty, I never made a series of comments about me. Fraser claims I am a widely disliked content creator, and I have been since 2019, and that he only remained friends with me because he is a loyal person. I find this rather odd, as Fraser told me that I could trust him, and that he wouldn't talk to anyone, and then spoke to strangers with YouTube channels that interviewed him, and then shared what he'd said about me publicly. Fraser goes on to then downplay our friendship, as Kirsty accuses him of openly admitting to her that he was only ever friends with me so he could use me to further his career, as he benefited from me. I would like to make it clear for context that I didn't know Kirsty personally, and I only ever met her on one occasion. To make posts where she acts like she knew me in any way, shape, or form personally is odd when our paths paths only crossed on one occasion. Fraser denies this by claiming that my YouTube channel has been on a decline since 2019 and that
Which
I'm
it
no
has.
longer relevant, mentioning that I was a widely disliked content creator, so it couldn't be possible that he was using me. For someone who apparently wasn't using me, I never seems to have a lot of knowledge about my relevancy in YouTube statistics over a 5-year period, as shown in his statement. Fraser claims that I was always disliked and that he was seen as an idiot for being friends with me, and then he wrote this in this paragraph. As you can see, this allegation is really strange to me. Yes, I regret being friends with Alex, but the suggestion I benefited with him is actually quite wild to me, considering it was a public thing of how disliked he was. I actually was seen as a bit of an idiot for remaining friends with him, and truthfully that's a fair criticism. These statements confused me as Fraser asked me personally if I wanted to start a podcast with him. I said yes because I believe that we were friends and that he was asking me because we had been for years, as we had spent a lot of time together. Fraser writes in his document that
I think that Alice hit the nail on the head. I think this guy's Delulu. I think that's what it is. Because truthfully, if I had a friend and they started hanging out with other people and we just stopped hanging out, I would just be like, oh, we're just not like close friends anymore. Okay, whatever. Like, that's fine, you know? Like, I truly think that he is delusional. I truly think that he's fucking delusional.
we only saw each other walking his dog for the most part, and in mid-2023, we started gaming a lot more together and speaking way more than we usually did, and that obviously led to us making a podcast that lasted 4 episodes. October 2023 is around the time I'd moved out of London, and to suggest that we became friends after the fact is disingenuous. We had hung out regularly since we became friends in 2018, and we used to go on holiday abroad together. We'd also kept in contact just as much when I moved away. To portray our friendship as only being a recent thing is just completely untrue. Fraser's statement is also incorrect, as we have actually also done 5 episodes of our podcast instead of the 4 that Fraser wrote in his document. Fraser travelled over...
Oh my god, this guy is such a fucking pedant. Oh my god. Fuck, dude. Okay, cool. You guys did 4 episodes instead of 3. Cool. Very cool. This is so fucking painful.
Now to visit me a month before Alice posted her TikToks and stayed at my house with friends as I'd moved outside of London. In our own podcast, Fraser says that we would talk every day, which is why we decided to start the podcast in the first place.
I've been a big fan of podcasts that go on and are just super casual between friends, and there's like 150 episodes.
But that's why I feel like this isn't going to be like your last ventures, because for one, you've always done it high budget, which is not like a thing to criticize, but it's like this is on Discord, like, and we speak to each other. We speak to each other every day. We're in calls, so like there's no reason for us. It makes sense for us. We talk about YouTube all the time. We're always speaking about things going on. It makes sense to just get on camera like once or twice a week and just speak about it on a long form, hour to 2 hour thing.
After our call, Fraser didn't reach out to me at any point. I asked him if he leaked our messages, and when I saw the clip where Samuel claimed that Fraser had told him that I had been avoiding him the entire time, which, as you can see, was a...
Who is he?
Amber Rose, thank you for the membership. Slay. And yes, the ego here is incredible. Like, I just don't understand, because like anybody who's like nodding along with this just hasn't read anything about it, I think, and that's probably, you know, the idea behind this, because like it's very clear in reading what iNabber just shared that he didn't leak anything. The only thing that he said was like, dude, like, I don't want to go public with this because this is messy as fuck, and I don't have all the information, and that's fair. I think that's completely fair. A lot of people get mad that people don't like roll on shit the second they hear about it, but it's like, if you don't really know what's going on, you should probably wait until you have a pretty good idea of what's going on before you start blabbing about shit, right? Because you can fuck people over that way, right? If somebody has an allegation and there's not a lot of good evidence behind it, and then you start fucking yapping about it, you can fuck over the person that's victimized in that situation because you make them look like a liar if you don't have all the context, or there's like a misspeak, right? Wow. Woman moment. I was completely interrupted. My train of thought has been completely derailed. Either way, Alex is a liar. That was the point.
At no point true. Fraser posted on his Instagram story that I refused to share the private messages I had with Alice with him, but the reason that I didn't share them is because I was worried that they would be leaked, which is exactly what happened after I spoke to him. Fraser posted that he believed I might sue him for posting these stories, but I have no intention of doing so, and there would be no reason to worry if what he posted was actually true. Alice had followed everyone in my friendship circle months after our break.
He's like saying, don't share this shit around. I have a lawyer. If you can extrapolate that a joking get out of bed flaky is like you being like beat to shit, like you are literally Rihanna in this situation, if you can extrapolate that, it's fair for iNabber to extrapolate that you were saying like, you better be on your best behavior, otherwise my lawyer's going to be pissed. That extrapolation works, so fuck you.
Breakup, and was using my friends to gather information on me by posting videos that were intended to get a reaction out of me by falsely claiming that I am a convicted criminal. Alice wanted to find out what I would say to defend myself from my friends so that she could build the document backwards from this to make it look like I was lying. If Alice hadn't continued to harass me privately and publicly, I would never have had to tell my friends that she had been abusing me throughout our relationship, but due to the constant harassment, I was left with no choice. Alice wouldn't only just threaten me privately, but would also threaten me when we went out in public. Alice had threatened to punch me in the street, and then it began shouting at me. I walked away from...
Can't deal with it. Don't just start making a call and then shout at me in public and then threaten to hit me. I need more context for this. Like, I don't care. I don't care. I think this guy's a fucking liar.
from Alice as soon as she had threatened me, and this is the text conversation that we had as I was walking away from her. I told Alice that she had gone too far by shouting that she would punch me in public because we had had a small disagreement about me visiting her house, as Alice had told me that she was embarrassed and she thought that I would leave her if I went over and saw her family and where she lived. Alice sent me these messages and then said that she had done nothing wrong. I told her I didn't know if I wanted to come over anymore, as she had just threatened to hit me in public. Alice had shouted that she was going to hit me so loudly that I got a comment from someone who had seen me walking away after Alice had shouted at me, which I sent to her on iMessage. Not only did Alice threaten me throughout our relationship, but she also blackmailed me throughout the entire time we were together and afterwards. Alice has written in her document that after our breakup, I begged for her to come back, and I also sent gifts and a letter to convince Alice to get back with me.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. You did do that. Let's hear about that.
Because I wanted her to forgive me. But this is not an accurate version of what had happened, and it is a lot more complicated than Alice has portrayed. She had intentionally lied and left out hundreds of messages and events that do not show the reality of what was actually happening. Alice was continuously blackmailing me and had been abusing me for our entire relationship. I had tried to leave our relationship at many points, and Alice has taken this and wrote in her document that I would threaten to break up with her as a form of manipulation. This is not true, and I've shown that I tried to break up with Alice after she physically assaulted me and blackmailed me, and I stayed because she would threaten me if I
I'm so done with your stupid ass. It's so fucking weird. You pissed me off, and now I'm mad. That you will die for liking that tweet. No, what? I won't? That's not... I don't know about that. I apologize for that. I'm going to refollow all the people I unfollowed for you if you're going to be like that. How do you understand? I hate you. And blah, blah, blah. I guess I could do breakup. Breakup threats. Oh, was this the one that I just read? It was intentional. I wanted this to happen. The little bit about the gluten was genius.
Genoveva Simons Donatet un lliure amb 99 penics trucs superchat. Bruce Iniscanyauer Estera. Te but insana.
Thank you very much for the £1.99. Yes. We are in the Kanye West era, so let's just read this. This is Alex. You're a freak, because even though you know I called you to buy your fucking correct food, you hung up on me. Talk about grateful. You got it. A weird way of showing it. But you can't get that through your thick fucking skull, so why hang up on me? When I mistake your shitty attitude for being shitty, you have me like for 2 seconds because you're a silly word. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Like, dude, we can see these text messages. I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say, bro.
I tried to leave. When I told Alice I did not want to be involved with her anymore after we broke up, she began posting online the lie that I had a criminal record and that I was on Claire's law. Alice then started posting TikToks about me, and this led to the situation that she orchestrated when she began to follow all of my friends after we had broken up, so that I couldn't escape her. At one point, Alice told me that she wanted me to plan something soon, and then she said I should make her dinner. This is completely contradictory to the claims Alice has made in her document, where she says she had no interest in talking to me, as in reality, she was emotionally manipulating me and blackmailing me while she was writing a document on me, trying to dismantle my life. Alice accuses me of being manipulative after our breakup, even though when I tried to end things, Alice threatened to call the police and lie about me if I didn't back down. Alice said that I am the one who asked her to dinner, when I showed in these messages it was Alice who asked me, and Alice has constantly accused me of doing the things that she has done in her document. Alice will continue.
But anyway, I'm literally saying one tomorrow. No, you're fine. I have to sleep. Okay, that's fine. I don't want you to think I'm ducking. Did you read what I said above? This weekend, yeah, I'll sort of lift and pick up what are we doing. Let me think. I can get stuff maybe. Make dinner.
Okay. Emotionally abuse me and manipulate me whilst threatening me.
Where's the date on here? There's no date on here. When is this? This could have been a screenshot. Where's the date? If we're gonna play semantic fucking nut twister 5000 here, where's the date here?
So that she could build her document on me, which she has constantly lied in. Alice complained that after she had moved out, I didn't seem panicked enough and sent me this text message.
Still no date.
I moved out.
Don't care.
My mind would be more panicked that I won't come back. Alice also sent me text saying she had left because she wanted me to know what it's like to be without her. We had many conversations about getting back together, and when I realized I was being emotionally manipulated and blackmailed by Alice, I tried to break it off on multiple occasions. This is when Alice began to start posting about me and following friends and making threats. Alice has written in her document that I'd refollow girls I had slept with, and I told her I was going to refollow everyone that I had unfollowed for her. Alice had gone through and isolated me from my friends.
He did! It's right here! That you will die for liking that tweet. I'm gonna go refollow all the people I unfollowed for you if you're gonna be like that. And this is because she followed like an ex on Instagram. Yeah, bro, come on.
Friends for our relationship and was even stalking me after our breakup. I sent her this message to show that she was no longer in control of
Stalking?
me and could no longer make me stop talking to my friends. Although we had been broken up for months at this point, Alice was still messaging me about the girls I had followed on Instagram or friends that I had refollowed. Alice sent me this message saying that any girl that I speak to would be ugly anyway and proceeded to insult them after claiming that she hasn't tried to stalk me or tried to control me in her document. I refollowed my friends when it became clear to me that I was being manipulated and blackmailed by Alice. This is because Alice had unfollowed them on my phone. I did not follow many girls I had had relations with, and we had not been together for months at this point. Alice has posted texts and videos of me begging for her back and apologizing to her. I understand how irrational my behavior looks, as I was going from one extreme to another emotionally. I was desperate for any form of solution, as it is clear from the voice notes and videos that Alice has shared that the
He can be irrational, but if she's irrational, she's a lying bitch. Okay, cool.
constant emotional manipulation was having a severe effect on
What are the comments like on this, do you guys think? For full clarity, I'm not running ads on this video. This took so long, I completely forgot that you existed. I need the cat's response now. Well, at least you didn't use a ukulele. Here before the comments get turned off. Jaw dropped in the middle of the university library. Neither of them should own a cat. I can't wait for Paul Breach to talk about this. All I'm gonna say is that you're in no position to cry about the internet not giving you a chance to respond fast enough when you threw your friend Slazo under the bus the moment that you had a chance with false claims. All I see from this entire video and watching it is that you are both wrong here and that you're both part of a severely toxic relationship. Both people can be abusive towards each other. This person says, it doesn't matter that the relationship was mutually abusive. You didn't just lose your audience because of abuse. You lost them because of enormous hypocrisy. You made millions off of moral grandstanding and white knighting, policing other YouTubers who did bad things or even just cringeworthy things, and then pretending that you have some high ground. What else do we have in here? Yeah, so everybody hated this, obviously.
me, and I was saying whatever I thought I had to at the time to end the constant arguing, fighting, and blackmail. Alice would string me along intentionally whilst blackmailing me and threatening me if I didn't do exactly as she had asked. She would then tell me to send voice notes apologizing if she would refuse to call me on the phone after making accusations about me cheating on her or being physically abusive, and threatening to tell people things about me that were not true. Alice had threatened me throughout our relationship, and I did as she asked in the hopes that the constant harassment and lying would eventually stop. I was worried that if I didn't do as she asked, that she would post more lies about me online. I would send Alice voice notes apologizing because I did many things wrong throughout our relationship. I should not have retaliated with the horrific language and insults, and I was deeply ashamed that I had lowered myself to that type of behavior. I continued to apologize because Alice had begun to lie about me and harass me after we had broken up. I found out later when my ex-girlfriend Jess contacted me that Alice had told her that she had been planning this document since January, the month that we had broken up. I was already aware that Alice had been planning something when we were together, and she would tell me that she would add stuff to her notes after we had arguments and fights, and that if I ever broke up with her, she would post what she had on me on Instagram, and that I needed to change my behavior for her to work things out. Me and Alice stayed in contact for months after our breakup, and I told Alice that I was going to get 2 new kittens. Alice said that if I'm going to get 2 new kittens, I must not be planning on her moving back in, but I was under the impression that we had broken up and that our relationship was over. Alice was still trying to control my life and the decisions I made, using the possibility of us getting back together to control me, as I hoped that if we got back together, that means Alice would no longer blackmail me. I later realized that this was done intentionally so that Alice could use my breakdowns from the stress for her document. Alice also claims I had been harassing her after our breakup, and that I turned up to her house to return items with a letter as proof of this. This entire story she has written is untrue. Alice wrote, he ended up sending things to my house like teddy bears and flowers, his hoodie that had been spread heavily with his aftershave, and a letter to try and achieve this. Alice has made it look like I'd taken it upon myself entirely to send her a letter and a teddy bear, and that I was turning up to her house uninvited, without warning to...
What's this? What's this? What's this? What is this? Where did this come from? Did it fall out of the sky? Did the stork deliver this? What do you mean?
deliver her things. This is a complete lie, as Alice had asked me to send her this letter and teddy bear directly, as shown in these screenshots. Alice sent me a TikTok about writing her things. This is a complete lie, as Alice had asked...
Where's the date? Where's the date on this? Oh, meow. I want a teddy. He looks like silk. He is. Where's Teddy? At yours. You need to sleep with Minky. He's a teddy. Still want my teddy? I can send it. Yeah. I'll get it back. What shall I do? Like... What the fuck? Is this supposed to show the screenshots here? Like the date? Also, like, asking to have your items sent back is different than ordering somebody's shit on Amazon with apology notes and sending them letters. What is happening right now?
Send her this letter and teddy bear directly, as shown in these screenshots. Alice sent me a TikTok about writing her a love letter. When I followed up by sending the TikTok to Alice on iMessage, I asked her if this is what she wanted. She said, "You do you, I just don't expect it." Alice has not included this, as not only does it show that she had asked me to do this, she was also blackmailing me at this time and threatening me when I didn't do what she had asked. I'd also asked Alice if it was okay for me to deliver her the items she had left behind, and let her know when I was coming so that it wasn't a surprise to her, because Alice had accused me of stealing her belongings, even though at no point had I ever done anything but offer to return them after she had left. Not only did I want to return Alice's items, but I was tired of Alice accusing me of stealing them when at no point had I planned to keep hold of them. Alice had not asked them to be returned up until the point of claiming that I had stolen them. Alice has now used the letter that she asked me to write, and the fact that I delivered her these items as a tool to create a false narrative about me. On top of Alice making a request, it was clear to me that she would continue to threaten and blackmail me if I didn't do exactly as Alice had asked, and accusing me of stealing is just one example of this. Alice has also gone on to accuse me of smashing up her belongings, which is a lie. At no point had I broken anything of Alice's during our relationship, and as you can see from these messages that Alice has left out of her document, she sent me pictures of her monitors a few days after our argument, where Alice had And as you can see from these
I really said leave all my things alone, man. And then the pictures of the broken shit. And he says, I didn't do that. I'll send you the money to replace it. Just send the price. Hello? Why would you pay to replace it if you didn't fucking break it? If somebody said, Malcolm, you owe me money for the shit that you broke, and I didn't break it, I would say kick rocks. What the fuck? I didn't do it, but if I did do it, it's not that bad. And because it wasn't that bad, I'll pay to have it fixed. What the actual fuck, dude? They're both fucked up. I haven't checked my PC or speakers, and I don't want to. He says, I'm sure that you're fine. How did you transport them? She says, I wrapped them in blankets in a box like before. He says, call. Dude, get the fuck out of town. Get the fuck out of town.
messages that Alice has left out of her document. She sent me pictures of her monitors a few days after our argument, where Alice had falsely accused me of assaulting her and threatened to report me to the police because I'd asked Alice to stay away from me because I no longer wanted to be in a relationship with her. I told Alice I did not know how this happened, but I offered to pay for new ones to avoid any more arguments, as I was already drained from the constant false accusations, threats, and blackmail. Alice has fabricated a story about me breaking her glasses in her document, which is a lie. Alice used her notes as proof that this had happened, but has invented this story retroactively, as shown by the fact that it had been added after she had moved out, specifically for the document. Alice has posted videos of me threatening her in arguments, and firstly I would like to make it clear that it is completely unacceptable under any circumstances that I did this. I said horrific things in these arguments to hurt Alice, and we both said careless things to each other in the hopes that we could annoy the other person upset.
I said really bad things, but you guys, we both did bad things. I said really fucked up shit, but we both did.
Than when we started the fight. The language used in our relationship had become deeply normalized, and I'm incredibly ashamed that I contributed to that. I was fully aware at the time that this was completely unacceptable, and nothing makes this behavior okay. Alice has continued to lie about the nature of our conversations, and made this tweet where she denied calling me a dog at any point, which, as shown in this text message, is a lie. In this thread of tweets made, people accused me of being drunk in these videos, which is untrue, and Alice even corrected this and told people that I did not drink throughout our relationship. Since Alice posted these, she has accused me of controlling behavior in a document and has lied about me many times in these stories that she has shared. Alice accused me of threatening to break up with her for liking followers' tweets, but has left out the singular tweet that she had liked, and that we had had an entire text.
I just showed this. I'm not going to show it. He literally said that he was going to, like, crash the fuck out, that he was going to kill her for liking the tweet, bro.
Conversation about, as it would show that Alice was lying. When she was asked if these tweets were to do with cheating on Twitter, Alice said no and denied this. This, once again, is a lie. The entire conversation Alice references here is about cheating, and this is why she doesn't include or show the tweet and the hundreds of text messages that prove that she is lying once again, as she gaslit me and insulted me for hours, and is now trying to make people believe an entirely different story. After our first date, Alice liked a tweet from a follower that said they could treat her better. As you can see from the screenshot of this conversation, I was not trying to control Alice. I was asking why she had liked a tweet that I felt that was disrespectful, and was telling her it made me uncomfortable when I was trying to resolve the issue. At no point did I tell Alice to unlike fans' tweets, as that was not at all what our conversation was about, and I didn't make any demands or threats like Alice had claimed about her fans. I sent Alice the screenshot of her likes as it came up on my timeline. Alice was instantly dismissive, and then told me that she had done nothing wrong after she had started to ignore my messages. Alice then said she'd like more tweets, and that she didn't care, and said bye to try and end the conversation. I told Alice how it made me feel, and that I didn't like that she wasn't taking how I felt into consideration. Alice told me it wasn't a big deal, and then began to ignore me. This would happen often when I bring up any issues with Alice. She would stonewall me to discourage me of trying to talk about any issues that I had. When I told her again it was disrespectful, Alice dismissed me. Alice then started telling me 80% of her DMs were people saying that they could treat her right, which didn't make me feel reassured at all. I didn't feel like—
Well, I mean, yeah, bro. I think that the cat could treat her better at this point, no? We're throwing shit, we're yelling, we're screaming, we're calling her every slur under the sun, we're calling her the N-word. Like, yeah, dude, I think that, like, a brick wall could probably treat her better. Like, okay?
Like Alice was trying to help, and I started to feel like Alice intentionally wanted me to feel insecure. Alice says I am the one doing this and not her, and blames me for even bringing it up in the first place, wanting her to apologize, and then says sorry for liking a fan's tweet, which is not at all what I had an issue with, as Alice has tried to portray here and in her document. My issue was with the way she would treat me, and now she would have been upset if I'd done something similar. Alice has lied again about why I was upset, and has hidden the hundreds of messages of me trying to have a conversation about this, and then has written in a document something that is completely untrue. Alice then tries to make me feel bad for bringing it up, and was adamant that all she had done was reassure me, and I told her that what she had done wasn't enough. Alice then starts to swear at me and insults me. This annoyed me, and I told Alice she can call me when she got back, as texting was clearly not working. And as a couple, I felt that now we needed to call to settle this issue, as it had become way bigger than it needed to be, as I felt Alice was now intentionally trying to upset me. Alice then says I tried to force an apology out of her, but at this point I was just upset that I felt that I had been forced into asking for one that wasn't genuine after Alice had continued to mock me. Alice then accused me of being the person who was throwing a fit, and continues to downplay that I was upset that what I had seen was disrespectful and on some level a form of cheating. Alice says I heard you, to which I respond in detail with why I felt like everything Alice had done was not acceptable or an apology. I felt I was communicating clearly, but Alice mocked me again and said yes, Dad. I then got upset even more because I felt I was being belittled and mocked. Alice then sent me another sarcastic apology when I mentioned again how disrespected I had felt. Alice then calls me a baby and tells me she doesn't understand why I was upset at all in the first place. Told Alice I felt she was more concerned with having to say sorry than she was about me being upset, and that her response threw me massively. Alice calls me a child and immature. I admit I could have handled things better from the start, but from reading these conversations back, it's clear to me that no matter what I had done, I was going to be mocked and insulted for bringing up how I felt. I then asked Alice if she wanted to talk on call instead, as I struggled with communicating over text, and I thought that would make it easier. Alice then tells me that she is going to scream at me. Alice continues to insult me and calls me a baby again. I told her that this was not necessary, and that I didn't like having to fight with Alice to be taken seriously. Alice responded by spamming me with messages. I asked her to stop, to which Alice said that all of this had happened because of how I talked to her, blaming me for the whole argument, and gaslighting me that she had actually been reassuring me from the start. I made it clear again the issues I had with the way the conversation unfolded. Alice responded with insulting me again and blaming me for why she tried to belittle me and hurt my feelings. Alice says I did not acknowledge her or her apology, but at no point had Alice apologized to me in these text messages at all in any way. Alice at first tries to gaslight me and questions it being a sarcastic apology. She then says that it's what I wanted to hear, and then proceeds to gaslight me again that I have misinterpreted the entire conversation. I start to get annoyed at this point as it's clear that Alice is intentionally trying to gaslight me about what had taken place. Alice then proceeded to argue with me and spam me again. Alice begins to gaslight me again to avoid apologizing, and when I tell her to read it from my perspective, she calls me Delulu. I called out Alice for gaslighting me, and she replied saying she says it how it is. Alice has gone on to write another story in her document about me which is completely untrue. Alice writes in her document that after going through my phone, she found pictures of my ex-girlfriends on there, and this once again is a complete lie. Alice says he ended up being secretive over his phone to what I then discovered was him stalking his ex on all social platforms. In brackets, it's been years since they broke up, and found her old NSFW pictures he kept of her. He said sorry, and that was it. Alice also showed a message that says, it was never an issue before, so why is it now, in regards to going through my phone. This is because I had refused to give Alice my phone. Alice has created this story and put it in her document, despite saying on Twitter that at no point did I ever cheat, which makes no sense, as that is what she accuses me of doing throughout the entire document. Alice had complete access to my phone and social media from the moment we began dating, and the moment I tried to stop this from happening, Alice got annoyed at me, accused me of cheating, and threatened to break up with me, but has cropped these messages out of her document. Alice had full access to my phone from the moment we began dating, and would come in my room daily to check on who I'd been talking to. This started the first couple weeks into dating after Alice slapped me because I'd been invited to a party in LA by a TikToker. I didn't respond to the message and showed it to Alice, which resulted in her still being upset at me for being in contact with any female influencers or friends. Alice told me she would only feel better if she could slap me, and if she was allowed to go through my friends list and unfollow and block people, which became a regular occurrence throughout our relationship. Alice forced me to cut contact with many girls I had known for years, and I allowed this because I did not want to be slapped over something that was easily preventable. I thought it would be easier to let Alice have access to my phone than to potentially start a fight that would end up with me being hit or having my phone taken because I would be accused of potentially cheating on Alice, even though I never replied to these messages that I received. In the instance that Alice is referring to, I had refused to give her my phone because I'd reached out to a friend of mine and I told them that Alice had been hitting me, and that I didn't know what to do about it as she had threatened and blackmailed me when I had tried to leave our relationship. Alice had tried to grab my phone out of my hand, which is why she sent me these text messages. Alice would come in my room and take my phone off me on random occasions daily to go through my socials, which she admits to in this document. I hadn't deleted the messages with my friend, so I refused to give Alice my phone because I knew if she found out I had told anyone about the abuse, things would get worse. In the text Alice shows in the document, she leaves out that I said she could come and take my phone if she wanted it. Alice then threatens to leave me if I don't let her look at my phone after calling me guilty for holding onto it when she tried to take it out of my hand by force. Alice accused me of cheating and stalking my ex-girlfriends because I would no longer give her access to my phone. On this occasion where I held onto my phone, Alice tried to take it out of my hand and then pushed me when I refused. To make it clear, I at no point had access to Alice's phone, and I had never asked for it. For our entire relationship, Alice had full access to my phone, went through my following and text messages, and would threaten me and hit me if I refused to hand over my phone or unfollow people who I knew. If I refused, she would take my phone later that day and
we're just gaslighting. Gaslight. I missed you guys too, but I'm back.
follow them anyway. Alice would accuse me of cheating because she knew I would hand her my phone to show her that I hadn't been. I find it incredibly confusing that Alice has accused me of controlling behaviour when Alice has openly admitted in this document to having full access to my phone.
Just the same thing over and over again?
Okay. She was upset that I refused to let her take it off of me as if I was the abusive one for not letting her have it. Alice wrote in her document that time passed and small things became huge issues.
He hid his phone because he didn't want to be slapped. Okay, I missed that. Okay.
Which were over Discord at first. Alex felt that because I am home all day and work from home that I would be able to call 24/7 and completely shut out any other social interactions I have with my friends. To avoid that, I invited him into my groups and I stopped working as much. This is untrue. Alice had told me that she wanted to quit her job as an OnlyFans model. It was her idea and not mine. The arguments about work stemmed from many things. We would both insult each other and
that in the document? No, that's the document. Okay.
to each other. Our relationship was horrifically toxic, and none of this is acceptable. Alice had willingly invited me into our friendship circle to play games with her and her friends, and I had invited Alice into mine. Alice would insult me when I was working, and would insult my friends when I would play games with them, and accuse me of not spending any time with her. We were both incredibly toxic, petty, and mean to each other, and painting this behaviour as one-sided,
but she was way worse.
Yeah. We had both behaved despicably, and the more time we spent with each other, the more toxic our relationship became. After I moved in with Alice, Alice wouldn't let me go see any of my friends, and when I was invited to a party, the more toxic our relationship became. After I moved in with
You can choose to spend the time we can with other people. That's not saying that she... What the fuck? I have to be on this. I've been up, you've been up. Because of the move, I'm in bed right now. You choose to spend the time we can with other people. I don't care. That's literally not what that says. Like, can he also not read? This is essence of thought derangement syndrome.
Alice wouldn't let me go see any of my friends. And when I was invited to a party, Alice told me that I couldn't go. Me and Alice argued in person about...
If you want to go, then go, but I don't have anything here to wear. We have big deliveries, and the cat will be ill. Rather you didn't, but it's your call. He says, okay, I won't. She says, just thought it'd be the last time to see some of my mates. I didn't realize it was 4 days, and it's a big event. She says, it won't be, though. He says, well, everyone will be in one place, and she's like, sure, it won't be the last party. He says, yeah, but it's the 10-year one, and she says, gotta be a joke, right? I'm gonna have huge boxes and shit. He says, what? She says, and you're gonna stay there. And he says, I can come back. I just have to leave early. I guess. And then she said, that'd be nice, I guess. You're joking. He says, or in the morning. She said, I don't know. Don't move into a new place then. So it sounds like they were like in the middle of moving and he was like, I'm going to go to this party, which is fair. But she says like, because this is how I read this. This is me. This is my reading. Okay. This is my reading. If you want to go, then go, but I don't have anything here to wear, and we have big deliveries, and the cat will be ill. Rather you didn't, but it's your call. And then he's like, fine, then I won't go. Like, that's something that I think that, like, asshole people do, right? Like, spite is the only, like, truly human exclusive emotion, right? Like, animals in the wilderness are not spiteful about, like it's not like two wolves are fighting over a deer carcass, and then both of them are like, no, you eat it. No, you eat. No, I don't want it anymore. No, I'm not interested. I simply don't want it. Like, that's, like, truly, like, one of the uniquely human emotions, in my opinion. And so it's like, she's literally like, dude, this is like a huge inconvenience and it like fucking sucks or whatever, but if you want to go, go. Like, she's not saying like you cannot go. She's like, it's just a huge fucking like bad time. We're in the middle of moving. Like, we have shit coming in the morning. We've got deliveries. The cat is sick. Like, this is just kind of like a shit time for you to go, but if you want to go, it's your call. Like, what the fuck?
About my invite to this party, and Alice told me that I couldn't go because I had responsibilities, although at the time I had nothing.
And she's literally at the vet with the cat as well. Like, what the fuck? Okay,
Planned,
whatever.
I was not aware that I had something to do on that weekend. The more the conversation went on, the more Alice told me that I would have to deal with the consequences if I went, and it made me very much.
I am. You're the one throwing a fit like a little kid because I said, you have responsibilities. Go. Well, if it was something that I had to be here for on a Saturday, you said you can deal with it when you get back. Not you can deal with the consequence. You can deal with the Dude, the gymnastics here is impressive. I didn't know that like every British person is fucking backwards flexible as essence of thought. This is crazy. This is crazy. She's like, you just have to deal with like the shit that has been going on when you get back because I don't want to deal with it by myself. And I think that's fair. If I was in the middle of moving and I was like, hey, I'm going to go to this thing, but I'm going to come back later. It's like, okay, well, you can deal with it when you get back then. It's like, okay, yeah, like, obviously, when I get done doing whatever I'm doing, I'm going to pause my obligations. I'm going to deal with that when I get back. Yeah, duh. That's, yes, obviously.
Feel like I was not allowed to go. Alice then began to guilt trip me and tried to make me feel bad for ever suggesting that I wanted to go to see my friends in the first place.
You'll deal with the backlash after. What? It doesn't seem like it's appreciated. She says, it's like you don't understand what living with your GF means. It's like you're treating me like a housemate. Alex says, I invited you, man. Why would you, in the middle of moving, when you're having shit delivered to your house, not be at home? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm sorry, this is like man-child fucking behavior, dude. You're in the middle of moving. Shit is getting delivered to your house. Your cat is sick to the point where your girlfriend's taking the cat to the fucking vet. Yeah, it's time to do your big boy priorities. Yeah. You're not, like... I would not be going to a party if I was in the middle of fucking moving and one of my animals was sick. And I would be a colossal ass face if I shouldered that burden onto my partner. If I was like, no, you stay home, take care of the sick animal, and you take care of all the fucking shit that's getting delivered, and I'm going to go and get fucked up with my friends. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye. That's massive ass face behavior. Massive ass face behavior, but whatever. Sorry, I would love to go. I would have loved to go, but I have to look after my cat who's having... And the cat's having surgery! Dude, fuck this guy. You go. I'll have someone over help. You won't get off my back if I say no, so just go.
Jesse corta us donatet $10 truc superchat. Brugeta Llop. Jet of the internet forever.
Based. Thank you so much, Jesse, for the $10. Yes, put the fries in the fucking bag. I completely agree. This is just like petulant man-child behavior. I don't know if this is just like a mark of like immaturity or something like that, but something that I learned a long time ago growing up. And this is probably a result of the environment that I was raised in. But it's like when you have obligations, that comes before everything. That comes before partying. That comes before hanging out with your friends. That comes before fucking off. That comes before... If you have something that you have to do, that defines you as a human being and your character. When shit gets real, are you going to like sack the fuck up and deal with it? Or are you going to be a little bitch and are you going to be selfish? Okay? Like, there have been times where I would truthfully rather pull my own teeth out than do a task. But I'm an adult. I have to do that shit. That's part of being a fucking adult. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, when shit gets real, you have shit to do, and that's just part of being a responsible adult. This is crazy.
The party ended up happening. I didn't go, and all of the things that Alice said that I would have to be responsible for didn't happen.
Alice then stonewalled me. And there's no timestamps between these, so I assume these are rapid fire, because normally with iMessage, if there's a big enough gap between the messages, it'll say, right? Whatever, dude. Okay, so go talk about property later, and I'll talk about properly later in person. She says, you deal with the backlash after. I don't care, to be honest, because I lost care when I realized you don't have a brain. I'm fine with you going. You need to confirm, or don't. I don't care. And she says, done. Can I come down and talk properly on the sofa or in our bedroom? Hello? Want to play in like 30? Hello? Are you okay, babe? Like, yeah, dude, it's like, just go to the fucking party then. Like, I don't know what to say. If you're willing to do that, like, whatever. I would also be pissed and just be like, done. Okay.
It was not true, and it was simply being used as a way to keep me from going to the party. Throughout the time we lived together, Alice had friends and family around on multiple occasions, but I was not allowed to do the same. Alice was going through my phone and cutting me off from people I knew and would argue with me if I spent time in my office working or talking to the few friends that I had left. I had chosen to live near Alice and her family because that's what she wanted. But when I wanted to see my friends and family, Alice would make excuses for why I couldn't leave the house. Alice posted in her document that I didn't ask her to move in, and that I just assumed that she would. Not only do I find this accusation odd, it is also completely untrue. Alice's mum drove us to viewings.
I can't stop thinking about that 5-bed in blank. Neither. I'm very excited. That one's insane. And they replied so fast it is. Like and see for the price. Like anybody be silly to pass it up. Say I drive. We'll try and get an offer in. Also, you're loading. Yes. Okay.
Together, and it was something that we had been planning for months. I did multiple viewings of Alice, and we ended up picking a house together and moving in with each other, which would not be possible if I hadn't asked.
So this is just showing that they had talked about it. Okay.
As we were both on the lease. This is something that we had mutually discussed, and I do not understand why Alice has written this. Alice says in her document that she told me she was scared to move in, and has screenshotted this exact text message in real time so that it could be used to build her document that she had been writing throughout our relationship. I was incredibly confused at why Alice had messaged me this after all the viewings we had gone to together.
What was the message? What did it say?
She told me she was scared to move in, and has screenshotted.
Alex says, I'm tired of fucking life. Lessons you ain't got fuck all real shit on. Because if you can't apologize, block me and leave me. He says, I've got more important things more important shit than your feelings. He says, you can't apologize or stop insulting me, go away. Alex says, especially when your feelings are based on absolute wank. Alice says, tells me enough, Alex. She says, you're insulting me. He says, keep pushing, you lost. He says that you were being a dumb woman and move on. How can I actually help you? And then she says, wow. Like, what is this? This doesn't have anything to do with what he was talking about.
So that it could be used to build her document that she had been writing throughout our relationship. I was incredibly confused at why Alice had messaged me this after all the viewings we had gone to together. Obviously, I was not unaware of how horribly toxic our relationship was, as I tried to leave at many points, but I had been threatened or blackmailed into doing so. I believe that Alice sent this so that she could retroactively build the full story she has ended up sharing publicly on social media, as there was never any concern for her safety shown at any point before this, and that's because
yeah, that if we're gonna be like detectives here, yes, obviously, like women who are in abusive relationships, or really anyone who's in abusive relationships, there's usually like that false lull of security where you're like, this is fine, like I can handle this is cool or whatever, and then walking on eggshells as well. You don't want to piss the person off, right? Like, yeah, I actually can't wait to do X, Y, and Z, even though you're not. Like, just because there isn't like a identifiable response that you're picking up on doesn't mean that that's not like something that's happening, right?
Because I was never physically abusive towards Alice, and she knows this, as the only person constantly complaining about being physically abused was me. Alice had complained about me insulting her, but as I've shown, I would react badly to the constant physical abuse and gaslighting that I was being put through, which Alice has completely denied and hidden from her document. Alice has also gone on to accuse me of kicking her in her document, but what she has written is a completely false version of events. Alice says in her document that on her way out of the kitchen, I kicked her in the back, and that she turned away and said nothing. This story has been changed many times since this argument took place. When it happened, Alice texted me saying that I had only stuck a leg out. This is because
after your response of being stressed out, when I said blah blah blah, I would have calmed down, but IDK, it's really expecting me to feel instant regret. Even putting a leg out to me I wasn't even looking, trying to get away. Okay, so she's batting him away because he's trying to get the cat after he was like, I'm gonna fucking kill the cat, and she's like, please get away from me. And he was like punched in the face 17 fucking times. He lost consciousness. Every single one of his teeth came out and scattered across the floor like a little kid dropping a fucking bucket of beads. Just like across the fucking floor. There's blood splatter on the ceiling. Like the CIA is there trying to investigate what blunt object he could have been hit with to cause this much damage and force and blood. But alas, it was her fist. But the leg out is like, oh well, yeah, then obviously I didn't kick her. Make it like, oh my god. My brain is melting. My brain is melting. This is so fucking stupid.
He never kicked Alice, and her story has been greatly exaggerated to make me look like I've been physical with Alice throughout our relationship instead of her. Alice texted me recalling events after she had left, as we had texted each other about the argument that we had just had, and it's not at all what she has written in her document. Alice has taken this and then gone on to accuse me of kicking her in future arguments when it's not at all what had happened, as shown in these text messages. Alice started accusing me of kicking her for leverage against me, and started to say I kicked her when I tried to talk to her about the issues I've been bringing up throughout our relationship. And
so again, if we think back to the beginning of the video, this is like the evidence, like what he's demanding of her, he can't even provide himself, right? So why are you doing this? Why have you made such a big deal? She says, you on your own chose to throw a kick at me. He says, no, man, that's not fucking cool. She says, so weird. He says, you're full of shit. She says, I'm not. Oh, so you didn't kick me. And then he says, you were trying to fuck with me. So you did kick her, but you kicked her because she was trying to fuck with you. That's the same shit that he said earlier, right? Oh, she's admitting here that she violently fucking punched me in the fucking face because she said you were being an asshole to me. I can't handle this
now
anymore.
written a story backwards from this, which is untrue. Alice shared a video from the same day of me following her around and yelling at her. I'm incredibly angry and upset in this video. The only context given is that Alice says that this is when I kicked her, which, as I have shown, is not what she had said at the time in the text message.
I mean, even if you did not kick her, let's just pretend that you didn't kick her. This video is fucking insane. This alone should get you, I don't know what they call it in the United Kingdom. This should get you involuntarily detained at like a fucking psych ward because this is psycho shit. Following somebody around fucking screaming at them when they're trying to get away from you is fucking insane. It doesn't matter if you put hands or not. That behavior is fucking bizarro world, dude.
As it is not what happened. I was angry and upset because Alice had hit me and then had began to threaten me. When I got angry and started to lose my temper, Alice recorded me. Alice says that she recorded this because she was scared that I'd hit her again, but this is false as I hadn't kicked her or hit her. Alice has then begun recording me halfway through an argument that started because she had hit me after we had argued on the sofa as a way to pass.
And then this is something that he just threw in here right now. He never made the allegation that, like, not only is she lying about me kicking her, it turns out that she actually suplexed me into the back of the couch and broke 3 of my ribs. Dude, come on.
A completely false story. I shouldn't have followed Alice around and ranted at her and insulted her, but I was incredibly upset with how she had hit me,
but
and began to blame me for why
I shouldn't have done this, but okay, king of excuses. Like, this is just so fucking pathetic, dude. It's like, I shouldn't have done this, but she made me do it. I shouldn't have followed her around and called her the N-word, but she really hurt my feelings. Like, it was really fucked up of her to record me, but I was just really upset I couldn't help it. Like, shut the fuck up.
she was abusing me, and she told me I deserved it. This is why I started listing all the things I had issues with, as I thought it was ridiculous that Alice had assaulted me again, and then treated me like I was the only part of the problem, and entirely responsible for why our relationship was so toxic. The kicking incident would be brought up in many arguments from this point on. The more we would fight after the breakup, the more I pulled away, and the more Alice would change the story to sound worse, and would tell me to apologize for kicking her after tormenting and
That's literally what he's been doing this entire time with the cat thing. Every time he tells it, it gets more dramatic. First it was, you know, she pushed me away, then she punched me in the face, then she broke my nose, then she broke my legs, then she broke my arms, then she killed my mom, then she killed the cat, and then she killed me with the cat's dead body, and then she got defibrillator paddles and resuscitated me so she could beat the shit out of me more. Come on, dude.
blackmailing me. Alice has wrote in our document that I carried many issues into our relationship and has written that she is an empath and that I am a narcissist. This is not what I was told by Alice when we started dating. Alice had told me that she had borderline personality disorder, but that she was self-diagnosed. I am confused why this has not been mentioned at any point in this document, as it was a big part of our relationship and how we interacted with each other. Alice sent me a video on TikTok after we had an argument.
Because she's not using that to justify her behavior or saying that you were preying on her because she's mentally ill. That's the difference there, right? Because it could be read if she says, like, I'm somebody who has borderline personality disorder. It could be like, oh, so you're saying that, you know, he took advantage of a poor mentally ill girl or whatever the fuck. Or the reason that, you know, there was like this turbulent back and forth or whatever the fuck, it's because you're mentally ill and what have you. She's literally doing you a favor by not including that in the document. She's quite literally helping you out there because the fact that she might also be borderline actually makes you look significantly fucking worse, to be completely honest with you. And again, Alex has BPD, so it's, you know, it's totally understandable. His actions are, he can't help it. He's just a BPD girly. He can't help it. Like, crashing out is part of his lifestyle, okay? It's not his fault. But if she has BPD, it's like, oh, well, she's just full of shit and a fucking liar. Okay, very cool.
Where she began to verbally abuse me, go through the phone, and hit me during our arguments.
Do you or someone you know possibly have borderline personality disorder? Here are the key features. An intense fear of abandonment, even going to extreme measures to avoid it, whether it's real or just imagined. A pattern of unstable.
Why is this in this video, bro?
Such as
Why is this in this video, bro?
Short on something, seeing them as totally bad. Rapid changes in self-identity and self-image. Sometimes even shifting their goals, shifting their values, or viewing themselves as bad, or sometimes.
Okay, I've had enough of this. What's the last bit of this? I've had enough of this. I've had quite enough.
Too much about how people would perceive me online. Alice has lied that I normally. of this onto me. I had complained about this at the beginning of our relationship and texted Alice about the fact that her and her friends use this language freely. Alice would tell me to ignore this and told me that I was stupid.
Oh, okay, so because she said the N-word, it's totally fine that I said the N-word. Is that what we're doing right now?
For complaining about it, and that I cared too much about how people would perceive me online. Alice has lied that I normalized this language on Twitter, despite it being her who
my
actively bragged
God.
about it and brought it into our relationship. I'm not claiming that I'm innocent in this relationship.
Is this a screenshot of her saying the N-word? Hang on
Ignore
now.
this and told me that I was stupid for complaining about it, and that I cared too much about how people would perceive me online. Alice has lied that I normalized this language on Twitter, despite it being her who actively
What?
bragged about it
They're
and
saying the
brought it into our
N-word. This is her normalizing the language?
perceive me online. Alice has lied that
This is
I
her
normalized this language on
normalizing
Twitter,
it?
despite it being her who
This is her normalizing it. He says, "You're gorgeous, I'm going to kiss you," and she says, "Go on," and then he says, "They're saying the N-word." What the fuck?
actively bragged about it and brought it
He
into our
brought it up! Oh my god. And then he says, "Call tomorrow and we haven't played Call of Duty actually." And she says, "Yes, let's do that. You can see how disgusting my language is." Where is it? Show me a screenshot of her saying the N-word or shut up. Show me a screenshot of her saying the N-word or shut up. I don't, come on.
relationship. I'm not claiming that I am innocent in this relationship. I retaliated with vile language and threats that have been normalized, and this is disgusting and unacceptable.
L.A. i Abuc donatet $2 truc superchat. Literally revoking SVP de car. Gibait back Alex.
Dude, we are losing every card in the book here. This is fucking nuts, bro.
Alice wrote in her document that this is what happens when a narcissist meets an empath. They feed off it. But Alice has posted multiple videos about me online, a document that is filled with lies, and has also continued to harass me and others in an attempt to isolate me for the last year. I hope by not responding or reacting that Alice would move on like she had claimed she would in her document, but Alice has continued to post about me and has harassed others in an attempt to get to me. Alice said that these posts that she had made about me were a cry for help and not attention in her document. But Alice asked me to make a public apology to stop her ongoing harassment of me. It has been over a year since we broke up, and Alice has continued to lie about me to this day in her posts online and to other YouTubers who then posted those lies about me in videos that now have millions of views. Alice wrote in her document that after I ended the relationship, he tried to manipulate me, telling me we just need time and that he will change, and begged me to give him a chance to change and make things better.
We have literally heard the audio of you crying and doing exactly that. Please do not try to gaslight the audience. We have seen this. We've heard about
on
this.
for months. He kept doing this and then getting angry when I didn't give back the same energy. Alice at no point has mentioned that she was harassing me and blackmailing me privately, and that she had been asking.
So that's why you called her crying, begging for her to come back and apologizing for all the horrible things that you did? That's interesting.
Me to fix our relationship with letters, while she invited herself over and told me to make her dinner. This was going on all whilst Alice was using traumatic experiences that I had shared with her privately to torment me and drive me to a mental breakdown intentionally after I'd started to break away from our abusive relationship, and that during all of this, she had been planning to expose me for a document that she had told my ex-girlfriend Jess about. Alice wrote, "I've had threats of story manipulation from Alex, so I want to clear all of these up before he gets the chance to try and victimize himself and disregard everything he's ever done to me." But Alice has lied and manipulated these stories constantly in her document to portray a narrative which is not true. Before I end this video, I would like to apologize to anyone who I upset or offended in the videos and text messages that Alice shared. I wish no ill will on anyone who has posted—
Except for Alice. I would really like to apologize for the trauma that I inflicted upon my audience who had to read the horrible, vile, racist, misogynistic, just unhinged, deranged, fucking schizo ramblings of somebody who is on the verge of a mental breakdown that should probably be institutionalized. I'm very sorry to the individuals that were exposed to this, that had to read the horrific things that I said to somebody, but I will not apologize for saying them to this evil bitch, is basically what we just said here. Very nice.
Posted about me or shared these stories online. I am ashamed that many others were dragged into this unintentionally because of my actions. To the many people who have reached out publicly and privately, I greatly appreciate the kindness and generosity many of you have shown at a time where I have not deserved it. And I hope that I can repay you by being a better person. Thank you for listening to what I—
Jesus Christ. What a bunch of fucking slop, dude. What a load of shit. What a just steaming hot, fucking wet, sloppy, disgusting, flaky, dandruff-covered pile of shit. Dude, oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are people for real eating this shit up, dude? There's no shot. Are people for real? Let's go to our newest comments, guys. Let's go to newest comments. The only one I feel sorry for is the cat. I'm unemployed. Nice. I don't care about anyone's opinions. I believe you. I have seen the footage she showed. I am a woman who has gone through everything she's claiming you did to her and worse. I believe you. King. Stay strong. Stop whining on the web and fire up a solicitor, then bore off. How about you both stay away from each other? I'm at 10:50 and I already have a couple of questions. One, you said Alice had continued to talk about you, but the screenshots from the time period came out. Two, you had a mental health assessment in July 2024. So as far as Alice was concerned, you weren't diagnosed. So it's not really a lie at 10:50. Investigate that, shall we?
Throughout this video. This was a lie in response to the allegations that she has made against me, and that after posting her statement, she can move on with her life. But this was a lie that I threatened because this is the ignorance that Alice said, or he had moved 90 me one past Pokemon as the medical after down form, even though she provided an exact date of the day that
Yeah, I think I did. Here.
The mental health team after the diagnosis from my psychiatrist, also known as borderline.
Oh, fuck. God damn it.
An empath. I was diagnosed by my psychiatrist.
Date, July 3rd, or excuse me, clinic date, July 3rd, 2024, typed July 5th of 2024. So this comment is actually correct. As far as she is concerned, she would not know that he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. So it's like she knew that I was borderline. That's another fucking lie. Right there. That's another fucking lie right there. In the first fucking 10 minutes of the video, another fucking lie. She knew that I was borderline. She knew that I was mentally ill. She knew that I was prone to, like, fucking crazy crash outs and shit. No, because even by the paperwork provided, you weren't diagnosed until after you guys broke up. So that's a lie. Both of you suck. Also crazy we got this before Fallout 5. Tell me you're a narcissist without telling me you're a narcissist. This just makes you look worse. It's a shame he waited to respond. With that being said, here are my two takeaways. Number one, I'm dumbfounded at how jealous she was over the attention of the cat. The cat. Two, color me shocked that Fraser, aka Nabber, is such a twat. I never didn't do anything, bro. Should have shared this sooner. I feel like, though, I don't like Alice. I have disliked you for so long. It's hard to change my mindset. Based. Good job. Way to be honest. I think to be someone without BPD commenting on the situation would be really difficult and lack understanding. Don't care. The screenshot / text that you're using make you look worse. True. She literally posted videos and audios of you screaming at her and abusing her. Shut the fuck up. Alex, I don't think that you realize you're contradicting yourself. You say over and over that you never kicked her, but she says over and over you did in text. You play dumb and say no, you didn't. Then you admit that you did, but it was, quote, only a joke. Bro, you kicked her. Plain and simple. She wasn't lying. You just try to cover your ass to minimize it. Each and every time that she calls you out in message, you drag her, hitting her, whatever else. Your response is very much of someone who is thinking, shit, I can't admit in any kind of way in a message that I actually did these things. So you do the obvious. What? No, you're crazy. No, I didn't. And just as fast as you do your best to change the subject, if I was being accused of such things that actually never happened, my responses would be a bit more than that. And I would be defending myself tooth and nail. You say you called it quits over and over due to blackmail and threats. You stayed. The both of you clearly have a trauma bond like bad. Both of you are toxic as fuck, immature, and you should really get some therapy to work on your own issues before even considering jumping into any kind of relationship with somebody else. Best of luck. Yeah, this video fucking sucks, bro. This video fucking sucked. IMALLEXX sucks, and this video fucking sucked too, bro. This video also fucking sucked, bro. Wow, that was ass, bro. That was ass.